Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto Yu-Gi-Oh arc v council bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by EVILDRAGONLORD 101 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Neglected. That was Naruto Namikaze had been feeling ever since he started to grow up. His parents never paid attention to him. He was shown love and care when he was just a toddler, but when he finally hit the age of 5, he started to notice the changes around him. His parents started to pay more attention to his sister, Naruko. His godparents did the same also. Soon, one by one, people around him started to forget him or ignore him. His birthday was never celebrated, only Natsuko he was never asked where he wanted to eat. Hell, he wasn't even joined in family outing and such. All of these actions had hurt Naruto's heart. He felt that one by one that his life wasn't meaningful anymore. Because of this, he was forced to grow, started seeing the world in a different view. He watched as Natsuko, who had long red hair and blue eyes, ran towards to his father, Minato Namikaze, who was known as the savior of Konoha and the current Hokage, with a huge smile on her face. Joining them was a beautiful red hair woman. She was Kushina Uzumaki, the former holder of Kyuubi card and the wife of Minato Namikaze. You see, 6 years ago, a mysterious man wearing an orange mask attacked Konoha on the day Natsuko and Naruto were born and unleashed the Kyuubi no Kitsune card from its sealing place, unleashing the beast to unleash havoc and destruction upon the village. Minato had managed to prevent the beast from causing any more destruction by sealing its power back into the card. It was a few months later that Minato's master, a member of the 3 legendary duelists, the Sannin, told him and Kushina of a prophecy, speaking of a chosen savior who would prevent the return of a great evil that would threaten all of the world. It was believed the child was Natsuko, given she was the firstborn as well. She began to show amazing talents as a duelist. Because of that one little thing they ignored and forgot their own son. 6 years ago. Minato looked at the masked man who was responsible for everything that was happening within the Hidden Leaf Village's walls at that time. The man had short black hair. He wore a long hooded black cloak and a yellow-orange mask with a pattern that resembled a flame. The man first took hostage of his children after their births to prevent him from interfering. He then kidnapped his wife, the keeper of the 9-tailed fox card. The masked man had unearthed the ancient tablet containing the spirit to break the seal. He needed both the card and its keeper to unlock the seal holding it. Placing him under his control using his Sharingan eye, he summoned him into the middle of the Leaf Village to destroy it. It was a miracle, his wife survived after the extraction of tailed beast. The vitality inherent in the Uzumaki clan truly helped her. But why are you doing this? Minato asked, wanting to know the reason behind all of this madness. Oh, you know it's fun. It's part of my plan, the masked man said. Summoning a long chain from nowhere, he attached its both ends to his wrists. To start the war to bring the peace. Minato narrowed his eyes at the masked man. Whoever he is incredible. He can control the 9 tails, wield space-time jutsu that exceed both second and my own, and clearly has evil intentions. He took his special 3-pointed kunai out. If I don't kill him now, he'll become a greater danger than the fox. Minato thought, adjusting his grip on the kunai's handle. If I teleport back to the village, he'll follow me, and things will get more chaotic. If he really is Madara, then I doubt he can summon the 9 tails very long. I'll just have to leave the village in the Third's hands and finish him off right here. Minato thought. There's no hope for any of you. The masked man declared before he charged at Minato. Before the men could make a move, a loud roar echoed throughout the village. He looked up to see a massive creature descending from the sky, its body hidden in the shadows, its roars creating storm clouds, and green lightning go strike. The 9 tails growled looking up at the demonic creature before him. The 2 beasts roared, black lighting streaking between the two of them as shockwaves ran throughout the village. Oh no, Minato uttered as the 2 titans lunged at one another, biting and clawing at each other, the demon slapping the Kyuubi away with a beat of its wings, sending the beast skidding back on the hard ground. The Biju growled, firing off a blast of chakra towards the demon, opened its maw, firing off a neon green beam, causing a massive explosion. What is this? The masked man questioned, never expecting this turn of events. His eyes fell on the beast fighting the 9 tails and saw an opportunity to claim another powerful tool. He jumped upwards towards the dragon, his Sharingan eye blazing. The dragon growled, sensing the fool in front of him, attempting to try and force his control on him, infuriating him as he let loose another roar, summoning up a ball of red energy, firing off various streams of red beams, slicing through the man's arms and legs, causing him to vomit through his mask. Damn it, the masked man groaned as he fell hard to the ground below him. The eyes of the Kyuubi returned to normal, shaking his head out of its dazed confusion before looking up at the beast he'd been facing. It growled, lunging into the air as its eyes turned completely red, with a golden flaming aura striking through the demon as it gave off a pain-filled roar before shattering. It vanished, Minato muttered in shock, but he had no time to worry about that as he had a larger matter to deal with. A few minutes later. Minato. Hurry up. I can't hold him much longer. Kushina said, sweat beads trickling down her skin. She was restraining the 9 tails with her chakra chains. It wasn't an easy feat for her. Just few hours before, she had given birth to twins and survived from the extraction of the tailed beast. Those two had taken almost all of her energy, and adding the strain of holding the fox had too much for her. Minato was drawing a complex seal array on the stomach of a red-headed newborn baby who was resting on a ceremonial throne. He was trying his best to complete the seal, as he knew his wife had almost no chakra left. Please hold a minute. Kushina-chan, it's almost finished. He said as he drew the last symbol. Done. Gathering all of his remaining chakra, he started making hand seal rapidly. Minato. It's almost done. He finished a long sequence of hand seals and shouted, seal. In present day. Naruto was currently in his room looking over the cards he had set up for his deck. Minato had then proceeded to seal the Kyuubi into his children, with Natsuko getting the chakra and Naruto the chakra-less body of the Kyuubi. Minato then informed the villagers of the events of the Kyuubi's attack, as well as the identity of its culprit Obito Uchiha, Minato's supposed deceased student, which was a shock to many of his friends and classmates, none more so than Kakashi Haddock. Obito's name was stricken from the memorial stone. Since then, Natsuko was praised as a hero for holding back the Kyuubi's chakra, while Naruto had gradually faded into the background. The first few years were fine, with all 3 of them being treated equally. That is until their 5th birthday, when Naruto overheard his parents talking to Jiraiya about some child of prophecy. Since then, Minato and Kushina had begun training Natsuko when Naruto asked why he wasn't being trained. That was the same response they gave every time Naruto asked for training too. Eventually he just stopped asking. Luckily, when he was young, he discovered he was one of the rare few able to hear and see dual spirits. Naruto quickly bonded with them, finding solace in them and the family he never had in his own. Seeing no reason to stay home, Naruto decided to spend some free time walking around Konoha. Everywhere he walked, he'd receive some dirty looks and hear people muttering about the black sheep of the Namikaze family, but in all honesty, none of it bothered Naruto one bit. If they didn't care about him, he would do the same and not care about them. Naruto soon arrived at his destination and walked in, causing the bell to ring. Hello and welcome to Higurashi Game. Oh hey Naruto. A young girl greeted the Namikaze boy. She was around Naruto's age with dark brown hair tied into Chinese buns. This girl was Tenton Higurashi. Tenton's parents owned one of the local game shops, as well as weapons shop, dating back to the old war times, but with the recent peace of the past several years, the weapons business had gone down. But luckily her father had used his knowledge to forge dual discs, and her mother worked on their maintenance. Hey Ten-chan, I just came by to see if you've got any new booster packs. Naruto said. Tenton smiled, handing Naruto an gray booster pack. Naruto excitedly opened the back and smiled, seeing he'd gotten some pretty useful and powerful cards he could add to his deck. Well, it looks to me someone got the cards he wanted. A voice said. Both children turned to see a tall, beautiful woman walking out from the back room of the store, ivory-colored skin, black hair and a ponytail with a left bang that covers most of her forehead, blue eyes behind spectacles, and she is extremely voluptuous. Her most distinguishing feature is her enormous bust, which is restrained behind a tight purple apron-like dress. This woman was Kudleya Higurashi. In her hand she held an infant baby. This child was Rakuta Tenton's baby brother. Hey Higurashi-san. Naruto greeted, receiving a soft tap on the forehead. Now, Naruto, I've told you to stop calling me that and just call me by my name. Kudleya said, causing Naruto to blush, rubbing the back of his head. Yeah, after all Naruto, you're practically family. A loud voice called out. The owner was a tall man standing 6 feet to Kudleya's massive 5'9". He had short spiked dark brown hair and wore a black shirt with torn sleeves, showing his muscular arms covered in band wrappings matching black pants and red sandals. This was Ryu Higurashi. Right, sorry Ryu-san. Naruto said, smiling. One of these days you might even be calling me dad when you marry Tenton. Ryu laughed. Gross. Both children said with green cheeks, causing Kudleya to giggle. Anyway, see you guys. Naruto said, leaving the shop. Naruto soon arrived back home, arriving to see his parents once again fawning over their pride and join Itsuko. Oh Naruto, you're here, good. Come here and spar with your sister. Said Minato, making Naruto perk. Maybe if I show how much I've improved they'll start teaching me. Thought Naruto in excitement. Alright sweetie, don't hold and give it your all. Kushina said encouragingly. Naruto frowned at this since they didn't say anything to him. I'll show them how strong I am and then they'll have to train me. Thought Naruto in determination as he stood opposite his sisters. Hope you're ready to lose. Natsuko said mockingly. Rather than respond to her taunt, Naruto stood his ground looking at his deck with a smile. I know you guys will do just great. Naruto said looking down at his cards with confidence in them. For a time these cards had been the only friends he had ever truly known and he had placed his full faith in these cards, knowing they would pull through for him like always. If he had looked closely he could see a bright golden light shining from his deck. Let's duel. Both siblings shouted in unison. Naruto 4000. Natsuko 4000. Okay then I'll start this duel off. Natsuko declared as she drew her first card. And I'll start by playing the spell Graceful Charity, now I can draw 3 new cards as long as I discard 2 other cards. Natsuko announced as she did as the card instructed. Now by sending White Dragon Wyvernbuster and Black Dragon Collapserpent to the graveyard I can special summon the monster I just discarded. Rise up, Light Pulsar Dragon. Light Pulsar Dragon emerged from a black and purple portal at 2500. That's Dad's ace monster. Naruto thought with a stunned look. And now by banishing both dragons from my graveyard, I can special summon Darkfloor Dragon from my hand. Natsuko announced as another ferocious dragon appeared on the field. At 2400. That's my girl. Kushina cheered seeing her daughter had just brought out both hers and Minato's ace monsters in her very first turn. Nicely done Natsuko. Minato said clapping his hands at his daughter's opening move. Your turn loser, but I doubt it'll do you any good. Natsuko taunted. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he drew his first card. From my hand, I activate the spell Lighting Vortex. Naruto shouted activating his spell. This destroys all the cards you have on the field. Naruto announced as a blot of lighting shot down from above, wiping out both of Natsuko's dragons in an instant. What? Natsuko exclaimed in shock. Now I'll activate Pot of Greed, letting me draw 2 new cards. Naruto said as he picked up 2 cards and smiled. Now, I summon Yellow Ninja in attack mode. Naruto said. Yellow Tornado sprouted in front of Naruto vanishing to reveal a shinobi dressed in yellow jin with a long purple scarf, wearing a dragon-like helmet, 1900-1800. When Yellow Ninja is normal summoned, I'm able to special summon a level 4 or lower ninja monster from my hand, I summon Air Armor Ninja. Naruto said as he swiped the card on his dual disc. A male ninja flipped from it down to the field. He wore a green guy made of that had several metallic pieces of armor strapped to his limbs. A sword lay on his back as he struck a pose, 1400-1400. And this is far from done, I now overlay both my level 4 ninjas. Naruto announced holding up his hand. A large vortex appeared in the center of the field and pulled in Naruto's 2 ninjas as balls of green light. Is he actually? Kushina said in disbelief. Is summon. Appear Blade Armor Ninja. Naruto announced. A massive green tornado erupted from the vortex, a warrior descended within the pillar. He was wearing dark red armor, with yellow pieces on his shoulder, arm, and waist guard. He also wore a black hood on his head and he had 2 red eyes and a 1 yellow horn. On his back was a special sword sheath that looks like it rotates and it stored 2 katanas. 2200-1000. Minato and Kushina both had stunned expressions on their faces, they had yet to begin teaching Natsuko any of the summoning techniques and yet here was their son performing an Ziz summon with ease, how was this possible? Now go Air Armor Ninja, attack Natsuko directly. Naruto announced pointing towards his sister who was utterly defenseless. Blade turned to Naruto nodding his head as he dashed towards Natsuko striking Natsuko with his sword pushing the girl back. Natsuko. 4000-1800. Now I activate Blade Armor Ninja's ability, by using an overlay unity can make a second attack, end this now. Naruto shouted as Blade swiped at Natsuko once again with a Greeb cross, knocking the red-haired girl to the ground. Natsuko 1800-0. Alright. We did it, we won. Naruto cheered jumping up and down with a joyful smile on his face, even though his face was covered. Blade Armor Ninja I smiled at his master's joy. But the smile soon fell as he watched his parents rush over to check on Natsuko, whose hand was clenched in anger, shaking violently as she glared at her twin, a crimson malevolent aura began to surround her body. From within the Uzumaki shrine the Kyuubi card shook violently. Naruto turned to see Natsuko, now covered in a fox-shaped chakra cloak, charging at him before slashing him deeply across the chest. He couldn't even scream out in pain as he was thrown back impacting a tree as he started losing consciousness. The last thing Naruto saw were his parents running towards the rabid Natsuko before putting a seal on her making the red chakra fade away. Hospital. Minato and Kushina were in the hospital as they stood in the hallway. Medical ninja team was examining their children. The incidents had really shaken up them, as they hadn't expected a simple spar would end up like this. Their both children were now in the hospital and they didn't know anything about their health. The sound of a click caught their attention. The door opened to reveal the head medic Nin. He walked out of the room and closed the door lightly behind him. "Hokage-sama," he said. "Kids, are they alright?" Minato asked, worried for his children. "Hokage-sama, your daughter is safe. She has a small case of chakra exhaustion. She'll be back to full health in a few hours," the head medic Nin informed. After hearing those words, Minato and Kushina felt a huge weight lifted off their shoulder. "Your son on the other hand," the man trailed off with a frown on his face, making both parents to concern about their son. "What happened to him?" Kushina asked with worry laced in her voice. Her hands were shaking a little. "Hospital." Minato and Kushina were in the hospital as they stood in the hallway. Medical ninja team was examining their children. The incidents had really shaken up them, as they hadn't expected a simple spar would end up like this. Their both children were now in the hospital and they didn't know anything about their health. The sound of a click caught their attention. The door opened to reveal the head medic Nin. He walked out of the room and closed the door lightly behind him. "Hokage-sama," he said. "Kids, are they alright?" Minato asked, worried for their safety. "Hokage-sama, your daughter is safe. She has a small case of chakra exhaustion. She'll be back to full health in a few hours," the head medic informed. After hearing those words, Minato and Kushina felt a huge weight lifted off their shoulder. "Your son on the other hand," the man trailed off with a frown on his face, making both parents to concern about their son. "What happened to him?" Kushina asked with worry laced in her voice. Her hands were shaking a little. "I'm not sure if he'll fully recover from it." The head medics took pause before looking at both parents. "He has lost a large amount of blood, but it is no longer a major problem. The problem is the Nine Tails chakra. The chakra your daughter has left in your son's body has done some serious damage to his important organs, especially his both eyes. They are damaged to beyond repair. His body is further shut down and entered a comatose state. I'm afraid there is nothing I can do. Forgive me," he said. "Only Tsunade-sama can help you with this. She is the only medic who has the medical skill to possibly heal your son completely." He left them standing there alone and went to check his other patients. When two snapped out of their daze, they rushed toward their son's room. Tears welled in their eyes when they saw him. He had an oxygen mask on his face to assist him in breathe. His entire chest was covered in bandages as well as his left arm, his right eyes, and down his neck slightly. His chest had a few wires attached to it to monitor his heart rate and his breathing. Bandages that warped around his chest and both eyes were soaked in blood, telling them seriousness of his injuries. "This is my fault." Kushina was openly crying. "What kind of mother am I? I took my daughter to the hospital for her small chakra exhaustion problem, but forgot about my son, who was drowning in his own blood." Minato wasn't feeling much better than she was. He looked down at his feet in shame as he clenched his fist. "I'm such a terrible father. How could I let something like that happen to my son? It's my entire fault." Within the void of Naruto's mind he floated aimlessly as four orbs of light soon descended upon his, shining brightly, causing Naruto's eyes to slowly open. "Awaken, young one, your fate is not to perish here." An angelic voice called out as a massive flash of golden light engulfed him on Naruto's back, carved in the image of a large serpentine dragon, its jaws open over a golden symbol of infinity. His busted left eye began to open, becoming dark red with a reptilian slit. World of darkness. Within a void of infinite darkness, a pair of crimson red eyes flared open as purple miasma flooded the void of shadows, darkness, and death known as the Shadow Realm. "So it begins again," a deep demonic voice called out. Opening his eyes, Naruto was confused when he saw he was in a forest, with trees that were much taller than the one surrounding Konoha. "Hello, is anyone here?" Naruto called out. "Anyone, guys?" Naruto said worriedly when he didn't hear anything from the spirit. Looking around, Naruto backed up in fear of not knowing where he was or no one around. His back soon against a tree and Naruto slid down it until he was sitting on the ground as he pulled his legs up close to him. "I'm alone," Naruto thought, his eyes start to water. While Naruto had grown used to the villagers and his family ignoring him, he at least had spirits there to support and guide him. Now though, he was completely and truly alone. "Hey, are you alright?" a voice asked. Surprised at the sudden question, Naruto looked up and saw a girl his age with indigo hair tied into a ponytail with a large yellow ribbon and green eyes. She wore a magenta short-sleeved shirt with purple lining and pointed shoulders over a peach shirt with 3 yellow stars in the middle and a white collar, white shorts with black shorts underneath, and white boots with peach soles, magenta toes and yellow stars on the toes. "Naruto." Naruto muttered as the girl finally stopped poking him. "Hi Naruto, I'm Serena. You wanna be friends?" Serena asked, holding out her hand again. "We just met and you don't even know me. Why would you want to be my friend?" Naruto asked. Even if this girl wasn't real, it was a natural reflex to be suspicious of anyone. "Because you look like you need a friend too," Serena whispered as Naruto saw the same loneliness in her eyes he once had growing up. Looking at the offered hand, Naruto hesitated for a moment before grabbing it. "It's nice to meet you, Serena." Naruto said, offering her a smile which she returned. Suddenly several floating lights came by flying over towards Naruto, who smiled holding up his hand as the lights gathered forming into his deck. "Hey guys, you found me." Naruto smiled happily, glad to see his cards again. "You're a duelist?" Serena asked. Naruto nodded, causing Serena to pull out her own deck. "I'm one too. Wanna have a match?" Naruto nodded and the two sat down. They shuffled each other's decks before handing them back and drawing 5 cards. "Let's duel." Both children shouted. Naruto 4000. Serena 4000. "Alright, ladies first," Naruto said with a smile. "Oh, a gentleman." Serena smirked as she drew her card. "I summon Lunalite Black Sheep 100 600s. A woman with pale green skin wearing a black tuxedo lined with white fur appeared on the girl's field. "Now I activate polymerization. I fuse the black sheep on my field with the Lunalite Blue Cat in my hand." A girl with pale blue skin and spiky dark blue hair and a tail appeared alongside the other girl, as did an orange and blue portal behind Serena. The beast lurking in jet black darkness. Blue cat that prowls through the darkness. Spiral into the moon's gravity and become a new power. Serena chanted as she clasped her hands together. "Fusion summon. Come to me. Beautiful beast that dances in the moonlight. Lunalite cat dancer 2400 2000. A pink-skinned woman wearing a black and light green dress emerged from the portal. She had long red hair, 2 red tails, and wore a purple headdress. She wore a purple and golden mask in the shape of a crescent moon, and she wielded twin silver daggers in her hands. The woman struck a dancing pose as she stood beside Serena. "Whoa, I've never seen a monster like that before." Naruto gasped, his eyes shimmering, looking up at Cat Dancer, who winked at the blonde boy, causing him to blush. "And since she was sent to the graveyard as fusion material, Black Sheep returns to my hand." Serena said, "I set 1 card and end my turn." "Alright, then it's my turn, I draw." Naruto said, drawing his card. "Since you've got a monster on your field and I don't, I'm able to summon my Earth Armor Ninja 1600 1200. A brown-clad armored ninja erupted from the ground, kneeling in front of Naruto. "Now I'll bring out Air Armor Ninja 1400 1400. A green tornado erupted only to vanishing, revealing a green-clad armored ninja. "Next I activate Angel Baton. This lets me draw 2 cards, then discard 1. Naruto announced, slotting a card. "Now I activate Air's ability. Once a turn I reduce the level of a ninja mons on my field by 1, so now Earth's a level 4, 5-4. Now I'll overlay both level 4 ninjas." Naruto announced. A red vortex appeared, drawing in the 2 ninjas as green and orange energy. "Draw you mighty blade and gather your fellow warriors to your side." Naruto chanted, "Come out." Zubaba General 2000 2000s. Rising up from the vortex was a knight clad in red, gold and black armor. On the back of the knight's helmet was a large jagged ornament that slightly resembled a lightning bolt, and on his back was a flowing red cape. In each hand the knight carried a jagged sword, and attached to the back of both blades was a round orange emblem that bore a symbol that looked similar to the letters E. "Ains's summon." Serena gasped. "Now I'll activate Tsubaba's effect by using an overlay unit. I'm able to equip him with a warrior from my hand. I'll equip Celtic Guardian of Noble Arms." Naruto called out. The towering warriors raised his sword up high as a green aura surrounded him, 2000 to 4100 2000. "Now Tsubaba, attack Cat Dancer." Naruto shouted. His monster raised his sword up high, bringing on a downward slash, only to be blocked by a swirling barrier. "Sorry, but I used negate attack to cancel your attack out." Serena smirked, holding up her spell. "I'll set a card face down and end my turn," Naruto said, setting a card. "My turn, and with it I'll activate Smashing Ground to destroy your Zubaba General." Serena announced. A large fissure opened in the ground, swallowing Naruto's monster into the earth. "Now go Cat Dancer, direct attack, and when she declares an attack you take 100 points of damage." Serena called out as Naruto glowed red. Naruto 4000 3900. Cat Dancer shook her hips before swinging down her blades, striking Naruto directly. Naruto 3900 to 1500. "I'll end my turn," Serena said with a confident smile as Naruto drew his card. "I'm gonna summon out my Flame Armor Ninja 1700 1000 in attack mode." Naruto declared. A small twister of flames erupted from the ground as the red-clad ninja appears, gripping his sword. "Well, I'm not done just yet. Activate my face down, Ziz Reborn, to revive my Zubaba General." The mighty smashed up from the ground with a loud battle cry. "He's back," Serena called in shock. "Yeah, he is, and thanks to Ziz Reborn, it attaches to my general as an overlay unit," Naruto announced. "Now I'll use his ability once more and I'll equip him with this bad boy, Tyler the Legendary Warrior." Naruto shouted as a golden pillar of light erupted up from the sky as Zubaba turned shining golden. The spirit of a large warrior appeared behind him, 2000 to 5000 2000s. "Battle." Zubaba take on Cat Dancer. Naruto called out. Tsubaba General charged forward with its sword raised for battle, but despite that Serena smirked. "That's not gonna do any good, my cat dancer can't be destroyed in battle," Serena stated confidently. "A's good cause my half-shut won't change much," Naruto announced, holding up his card as a swirling blast of orange and yellow energy struck Serena's monster dead on, 2400 to 1200 2000. "Oh, this isn't good," Serena said. Cat Dancer and Tsubaba raised up their blades and clashed against one another, with Tsubaba pushing the feminine monster back. Serena 4200. "Now flame attack her directly," Naruto called out as his ninja jumped into the air, delivering a downward slash, causing Serena to grit her teeth. Serena 200-0. "Alright, we won," Naruto shouted, jumping into the air with his hand raised in victory. "Mo. I want a rematch," Serena shouted, going into a cute pout. "Sure, I'll duel you anytime, Serena-chan," Naruto said with a warm smile, causing the blue-haired girl to blush. "Oh, Serena-sama, you may have finally found a worthy mate in this cutie. You'd better snatch him up quick," Cat Dancer teased her young mistress, causing Serena to blush. Shut up," Serena told her spirit partner, who simply giggled at her flushed expression. "Is something wrong, Serena? Are you sick or something?" Naruto asked, touching the girl's forehead, causing steam to leak from Serena's ears. "Now you're burning up, do you have a fever?" Naruto shouted with worry, causing Tsubaba to facepalm at his young master's behavior. "Then nothing. Hey, come, let's go play," Serena said, pulling Naruto up as they both ran off with smiles on their faces. Both of them happy to have a friend. The two of them played for hours, running around, climbing the trees, and playing games like tag and hide and go seek. They shared the decks with one another, both surprised the other was able to see dual spirits, having never met anyone else able to do so. Naruto was glad he'd been able to make a new friend given how few he had in Konoha. From what Serena had told him, it was the same case with her, as many found her intimidating to be around, but somehow they both felt comfortable around each other. As the sun started its set in forest, Serena began to feel strange. She looked down at her hand, gasping in horror as she saw she was begging to fade. "Then Naruto," Serena said, looking at the boy with fear in her eyes. "Serena, what's wrong?" Naruto asked, worried. I think I'm starting to wake up now. I'm not ready to go yet," Serena said, tears filling her eyes. The blue-haired girl gasped as she was brought into a tight embrace by Naruto. He closed her eyes as she returned the hug. "It's okay, Serena, we'll see each other again," Naruto assured her. "Hey, are you sure?" Serena wept. What if all this is just a dream? "I promise, we will see each other again," Naruto vowed. If there was one thing Naruto kept, it was a promise. Naruto pulled out a card from his deck and handed it to Serena. "Keep that card to prove this is more than a dream and promise that we'll meet each other again," Naruto said with a smile as Serena held the card to her chest. "Thank you, Naruto," Serena said with a smile as he handed Naruto one of her cards. "This card is proof that I'm real and that we'll see each other again." Joyful tears trickled down both their cheeks as Serena gave one last smile before she faded away. Naruto looked down at the card she'd handed him. It was a polymerization card he hadn't even heard of before. "Transcendental polymerization," Naruto said, looking at the card in his hand. From the looks of it, it was an extremely powerful card and useful for many situations. Naruto soon found himself alone, once again alone, with only the spirits within his deck keeping him company. Suddenly the golden flash which he'd seen from before erupted before him. He looked to see a beautiful goddess floating in the sky above him, dressed in the clothing of an Egyptian queen with golden armor, remembering the golden armor resembling that of the god of the sun Ra. "Who are you?" Naruto asked. "My name is Heracti, the creator of light. It is a pleasure to meet you, Naruto Uzumaki," the goddess of light greeted. "You know my name?" Naruto asked. I have watched the way you've been treated by the people of your village and your own family. For the last 6 years I've only been able to observe, but I can do so no longer as your sister's latest actions nearly cost you your very life. I felt now was the time to take action and confront you myself," Heracti stated as several 9 orbs of light shined around her. "So what's so special about me? Nataki's always been the golden child. I've never amounted to anything," Naruto said, looking down. "Only because those who doubted your worth did not have wits to see what lies within you, Naruto. You wield a power greater than any your parents could know, the power of a king," Heracti stated as Naruto felt an odd surge radiating from within his body. Suddenly he looked on his back as the dragon symbol appeared once more. What is this?" Naruto exclaimed. "That, Naruto, is the mark of one who become a king," the goddess said. "Become a king, me?" Naruto asked. "Tell me, Naruto, what do you know of the spirit that once attacked Konoha 6 years ago?" Hitachi asked. I know that during the time the Ninetales attacked, another strange creature appeared and fought the Kyuubi that day, but it was beaten back before it could cause any damage," Naruto said, recalling what father had told him. That was the resonance of a powerful dual spirit, one that sought to find someone worthy to inherit its strength, and it has find you worthy to wield it. Heracti stated, confusing Naruto. But why me? Naruto asked. Dual spirits possess a strong power known as resonance. It is how they find and choose those fit to carry their powers, and the spirit of the Dragon King has found you worthy of it. The goddess of light declared. Whoa, 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 this is all a lot to take in. Naruto said, holding up his hands. I know that it is Naruto, but in time you will learn to master this power yourself. These cards will help you own your path. Heracti said, holding up her hand as 5 cards appeared in her hand before floating into Naruto's. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked at 4 of these 5 cards. They weren't like anything he had ever seen before. Half of it was colored orange like an effect monster, the other half was colored green like a spell card. Furthermore, 2 jewels colored red and blue with numbers underneath them were prominent in the sides of the card. What cards are these? Naruto asked. In time you will hear them and they will help you carve out the path. Where that path leads only you can decide. Naruto looked at these cards as a smile spread over his face. Well guys, pleased to meet ya, he said with excitement. Minato sat in his office, signing for the 100th time that day. It had been almost 6 months since Natsuki had lost control over the fox's chakra and hurt her brother Naruto badly, who was still in a coma but out of critical condition. He turned to the only picture he had his entire family on it. In it, he was holding his wife while their hands were on one of Natsuki's each shoulder. Naruto was off to the side with a sad look on his face. He looked away as that picture reminded him of mistakes he had made with his family. His mistakes had been mostly affecting Naruto more than anyone else in the family, and he had so blind to see this. He remembered why he did this. It was all because of the prophecy that Toads had made. Flashback 2 years ago. Minato was in his office facing against every cage's worst enemy paperwork. But luckily he'd found a useful way to defeat this accursed foe. Thank Kami for shadow clones. Minato grinned, already won his last few sheets. Hey kid, how's the hat treating you? A voice greeted. It belonged to Minato's teacher Jiraiya of the legendary 3 duelist of Konoha. What brings you here, Jiraiya-sensei? Minato asked. The sage's cheerful expression soon turned stoic and serious. It's important kid, the Toad sage has given a prophecy. He said. A new prophecy? Minato shouted, rising from his seat. He had thought with Obito's death that the great threat was done away. The great evil will descend upon the worlds and that those who share a great burden with the blood of my student and the power of the legends will be the one to determine the world's fate. Jiraiya stated. Together joined these powers will vanquish the darkness or bring forth calamity that could destroy the world. Jiraiya finished with a firm look on his face. And you believe that this prophecy speaks of Natsuki? Minato asked. I'm certain. What greater burden is there than the Kyuubi or a power more legendary? Jiraiya stated affirmatively. So what do you suggest we do? Minato asked. I don't know kid, all I can think of is to keep an eye on her and make her the best we can and have faith in her and the prophecy, Jiraiya replied as Minato nodded slightly. I suppose that's all we can do. Well, Kushina and I can handle that just fine. I'm sure the kids won't have any trouble working together. Besides, it's not like we weren't already planning on making them the best duelists they could be. Minato said with a smile. What about Naruto? Jiraiya asked, breaking the blonde's train of thought as he looked back to the sage. What about Naruto? What do you mean, sensei? Minato asked. What I mean kid is that we have to focus on Natsuko or else we risk messing up the prophecy and losing her. Jiraiya said. Sensei, you better not be asking me what I think you are. Minato said, feeling anger and dread. I don't hate Naruto, Minato, and neither do you, but he could mess their training up even if he doesn't mean to. You know Natsuko takes longer to learn things than him. If he is part of the training we risk too much. Jiraiya solemnly stated. So we just cast him aside. You're asking me to neglect my own, so for Minato shouted, only to be cut off by his sensei. For the sake of everyone kid, including him. If the prophecy plays out and Natsuko fails, the whole world will be at risk. What will it matter if you son if left on when everyone is dead? I hate it as much as you do kid, but I'm not gonna forsake the world for the sake of one kid. Jiraiya shouted. Minato grit his teeth, clenching his fist, lowering his head in defeat. I'm sorry Minato, but this is what's best for everyone's sake. Jiraiya said, patting his student's shoulder. Flashback end. He thought he had made the right choice by choosing one of his children over the other in hopes of ensuring the safety of the world. However, he had forgotten that he had been pushing his son to side by doing this. Suddenly, something unprecedented happened. The glass around Naruto's face cracked. It was just an ominous sign. It worried him greatly. Minato. A voice called out urgently. Sensei, what are you doing here? He asked as he watched a man jump in through the window. Did you find Tsunade-sama? He asked. Jiraiya shook the head negatively. Sorry Minato. I even tried Toads to contact her slug summon to send an emergency message to her, but it also failed. Minato slammed his hands on the table and stood up. Then why are you wasting time here, sensei? Naruto Minato said only for Jiraiya cut in with seriousness in his voice. Minato, it's important. Jiraiya shouted. What is more important than finding Tsunade for Naruto? Minato asked. Minato, Jiraiya said. He knew his student was upset and worried. He needed Tsunade's help to heal his son who was in a coma for past 2 months. The prophecy has changed. What? Minato uttered. Meanwhile at the Uzumaki mansion. It was a big mansion, not big as Ichihara Hyuga, but still big enough for 4 people. At the moment, Kushina was sitting down at the couch in the living room while looking at the only picture she had her entire family together. It was the identical picture her husband had in his office. She still couldn't believe what they had done. She couldn't call herself a good mother, hell she couldn't even call herself a mother at all, after what she had done. How could I have pushed one child away in the favor of the other? She took one last look at the family picture, but before she could leave something unexpected happened. The glass of the picture frame cracked across Naruto's face. She felt a slight pain in her chest. Kushina. Minato's voice called her name as he flashed into the living room. Itsuko was currently sitting in her room looking through her deck. A huge pain swelled up in her stomach at the same time and she fainted on the spot. Within the seal in Itsuko's body, there was a gigantic cage as ominous shadows swirled in the darkness. A single red eye opened. It came forward, showing its massive figure and 9 tails. The 9-tailed fox had sensed a powerful chakra that belonged to an unknown eternity. His eyes flashed. This chakra it's powerful than the old man and her combined. He rose to his feet and roared. He sent his chakra toward the cage in an attempt to break it, but the seal blocked it effectively. This entity was too powerful and he did not want to stand in said entity's way. Time skip Uzumaki mansion. In the mansion, in Itsuko's bedroom, Kushina sat next to her daughter's bed watching her rest. Minato stood next to her, his hand was on her shoulder. What happened to her? Kushina asked worriedly, stroking her daughter's red hair. We checked the seal and it looks okay me. Minato tapped his chin in a deep thought. I think the 9 tails has tried to break the seal again he said before asking question is why now. They were so concerned about her. After hearing the new prophecy, they couldn't get it out of their head. What did it mean? How would it influence the future? Suddenly, a dog masked Anbu walked inside the room. He had spiky silver hair and wore standard Anbu armor sensei. Yes Kakashi. Minato said to his only living student. Sensei, your son Kakashi said panting, he has woken up from a coma. The head medic said he was healthy. After hearing that, a smile appeared on Minato's face while Kushina shed some tears. That was the first good news they'd heard. The past 6 months had been the worst and painful times of their lives. Though in the end it taught them the importance of the family and how bad some of their decision could affect their children. Thanks Kakashi, Minato said, you can go now. Kakashi nodded and walked out of the room. Thank goddess, he is awake, Kushina said, relieved to know her son was awake. I hope you'll forgive us, Minato said as he realized they had something to take care of. Naruto looked at the open doors in front of him. While he was sure that the Anbu had already gone to inform Minato and Kushina, he just didn't feel like waiting to be smothered and begged for forgiveness by those 2 weak ninjas. Instead he had gotten out of his bed and held up a shining white card in his hand, releasing a blinding white flash. Naruto found himself somewhere he had never been, he looked like he was in park. As he walked around he soon heard the sounds of sobbing in the distance and looked over to see a boy his age sitting alone by the swing set as tears fell down his eyes. Driven by his curiosity Naruto walked over towards the boy, he took a seat beside the boy. Hey, are you alright? Naruto asked, startling the boy beside him, causing him to turn see a blonde boy beside him. My name's Naruto. What's your name? Naruto asked. My name's Yaya, Yaya Sakaki. The boy named Yaya introduced. So what are you doing here, Yaya, all by yourself? Naruto asked. I just felt like being alone right now. Yaya said. I know how that feels. So how about we both just hang out and be alone together? Naruto said with a smile, taking a seat in the swing beside Yaya. Yaya took notice of the cards in Naruto's pocket. Are you a duelist too? Yaya asked. Sure am, do you like duel monsters? Naruto asked. Yaya nodded. Yeah, I love it, it's my dream to become a great entertainment duelist someday. He said with excitement in his eyes. Entertainment duelist? Naruto asked. It's really fun. Duelist cab fly through the air, run along the ground alongside their own monsters. Yaya said. Wow, it sounds awesome. Yaya said with a wide grin. I want to be as great as my father. Yaya said. Your dad, who is he? Naruto asked, getting a confused look from Yaya. I'm not really from here, so. I understand my dad is Yugioh Sakaki, the previous duel champion. He would always put on an amazing performance and bring smiles to everyone in the crowd with his dueling. Yaya said. Sounds like a great guy to me. Naruto said, but he soon noticed Yaya looking down at the ground. Yeah, that's why I get so mad when people call my dad a coward. He's not. Yaya said, clenching his fist. Why would they call your dad a coward? Naruto asked. A few years ago there was a big match against this guy named Strong Ishijima. He was this big tough guy who claimed he would win and become the new champion, but my dad wasn't afraid of him at all. Yaya said, smiling for a brief moment, only faux frown again. What happened on the day of that match? Naruto asked. That day my dad didn't show up. Ishijima said that it was because he was afraid to face him in a duel and ran away. Other people started to believe him and soon everyone called my father a coward. Yaya said, causing Naruto to frown, knowing exactly how Yaya's dad went through, as Natsuko made a point of spreading rumors about him being a failure and a waste of time, causing people to view him as a disgrace to the Namikaze family. They started to harass me and my mom, asking us questions about why he didn't show up. But my mom just sent them away. Yaya said. I'm sure your dad had his reasons for no showing up to the match. Naruto said, he didn't really see what missing one match mattered even for the championship. I'm sure when your dad gets home he'll take this big jerk down. Yaya looked down to the ground. Yeah, I hope he comes home soon. Yaya said, sadly catching Naruto's ears. How long has your dad been gone? Naruto asked. I haven't seen him since then. Yaya said. How long was that? Naruto asked. 3 years ago. Yaya said. You haven't seen your dad in 3 years. Naruto shouted, the respect his was slowly developing, his father starting to fade, replaced with rage, thinking back to his own family. Yeah, but I'm sure he'll be home soon, he must have a good reason. Yaya said. Good reason? Abandoning a duel is one thing. Abandoning a duel is one thing, but what good reason could he have for abandoning his own family? Naruto shouted in rage. My dad didn't abandon us. Yaya shouted back. Then what? Naruto shouted, scaring Yaya for a brief second. He didn't abandon us, he just Yaya bit his lip, looking down at the ground, thinking back to the memory that brought him out here. Naruto clenched his fist in anger, hearing this, he hadn't expected this, he had thought this was a recent event, maybe a few days or even a month, but years. 3 years. What kind of father would just leave his family like this for 3 years? Naruto couldn't understand how someone could leave their wife and son alone like this. He looked into Yaya's eyes and saw that same forlorn hopeful gleam his eyes held inside, when has little the hope that this was all just a bad dream and that soon everything would be alright and we would be one big happy family. Yaya, I'm sorry to hear that. Naruto said. It's okay, I've learned to deal with it. But my mom, lately I've noticed she's not the same, she's not smiling as much as she did, she seems so sad, and one night I even heard her crying. I just feel so helpless, like I can't do anything for her. Yaya said as tears ran down his cheek. Over the last 3 years, Yaya's mother Yoko had to endure several reporters storming their home, asking questions on his father's whereabouts, why he didn't show up for his match, when would he be returning home. Though she put on a brave face in front of her beloved son, assuring him everything was going to be okay, deep inside he could feel that his mother was sad and in pain. He thought back to last night. Yaya had gotten up to use the bathroom when he heard a muffled sound coming from his parents' room. Why Yusho, why did you just leave us like this? Why haven't you come home? Don't me and Yaya mean anything? We need you here, it's been so hard on Yaya and on me, I don't know how much longer I can stand this. Yoko said, bringing her knees to her chest as she wept for her missing husband. The calls for raving reporters, angered sponsors, and people who just felt out wanted to mock the Sakakis for Yusho's cowardice in time, and all started to go take its toll on the young mother, but she knew she would have to stay strong for Yaya's sake. Yusho's absence had also affected the state of the Yugioh Duel School, with more and more students dropping out every day, not wanting to be associated with, in their words, the school for cowards. Shuzo was doing his best just to keep the school afloat on his own. These last 3 years had been hard on all of them, but none more so than Yaya. How could any 7-year-old go through what he's been put through? I can't show tears now, I've got to be strong, for Yaya's sake, I've got to stay strong. Yoko said, wiping away her tears. Yaya's hair covered his eyes as tears fell from his eyes, biting his lips, thinking of the pain his mother was being forced to go through. Yaya clenched his fist in his lap as memories of the pain and sorrow his mother and his friends were being put through since his father's disappeared. He figured his father must have a good reason for leaving the match. He knew he wasn't afraid of facing any opponent and would put in on a grand show to make everyone smile. Then why? Why was, instead of smiles of joy, did he bring tears of pain to the people he had claimed to love and care for? Trust me Yaya, I've been through the same thing you have. Thinking that despite how bad it looks someday that person will come and fulfill their promise. But in the end that day never comes and all that you're left with is just empty words and promises. Naruto said looking down at the ground thinking of his own experiences with his family. I can see that you really looked up to your dad, and I understand you want to believe he had a good reason for not being there for the duel, but not being there for you and your mother isn't the same thing. A father is supposed to always be there for their family no matter what the circumstances. Naruto said as he rose up from his seat. The words Naruto spoke resonated within his mind. Yaya, your dad isn't here now, so you have to grow stronger not just to protect yourself, but also the ones you care about. Naruto said touching Yaya's shoulder. I have to grow stronger, Yaya said with Naruto nodding. Yaya thought of his mother, the Hiragi family, and the school. He reached into his pocket and held onto his deck of cards, clenching it tightly in his hand. Naruto could you help me to grow stronger? Yaya said. Naruto pulled out his own deck. It would be my pleasure Yaya. Naruto said noticing his deck begin to glow bright blue, while Yaya's glows red. Both boys reached in and pulled out a card, slowly revealing it to the other boy whose eyes widened in shock. The card was Odd Eyes Dragon. You've got an odd eyes. Both boys said in shock. Yeah, it's my favorite card. Both boys said stunned. So then let's take a look at your deck. Naruto said as Yaya handed him his deck which seemed to be a crossover of a circus with Looney Tunes. Despite that he noticed some of these cards were useful for many strategies. Swarming the field, destroying cards and pouring up one another. Naruto pulled out a gray deck box filled with extra cards he had gotten from Tenton's card shop and the two boys got to work. For the next hour the two boys got to work modifying Yaya's deck. Yaya and Naruto were sitting down at a bench going through some cards. Well look what we have here if it isn't the son of the coward himself. The two boys turned to see a rather stocky boy with another bald boy. Gen Enkakuji. The boy smirked seeing Yaya knew his name. I see you bodyguard isn't around to protect you is he? Gen taunted marching up to Yaya only for Naruto to step in front of him. And just who are you? Gen said. My name's Naruto and Yaya's my friend, so I suggest you back off. Naruto said narrowing his eyes with a red flash. Hey watch you mouth. The bald kid shouted back. Then why don't you try and make me? Naruto said holding his deck. Oh? You're challenging me? Gen said. No, we are. Yaya said holding up his deck. Oh so the son of the coward thinks he can take me on huh? Fine then I'll show you that strong Ishijima's way of dueling is superior to your loser dad's. Gen stated. The four boys strapped on their duel discs. Let's duel. The four youngsters shouted. Naruto Yaya. 4,000. Gen Bold Goon. 4,000. Best duels at first. Gen said as he draws. I summon my granite battle guard 1,200s. An ogre appeared he wore a red cloth skirt and had blue skin, looking menacingly. And with granite battle guard is summoned I can special summon boulder battle guard 1,200 1,000. An orange ogre appeared wielding a mace club as the monster was draped in a dark blue cloth, growling. I'll set a card face down and end my turn. Gen announced as a set card appeared. Now it's my turn losers. The bald kid shouted. And I'm gonna summon out my Jirac Protops 1,700 1,200 and end my turn. Shiba summoned a Triceratops dinosaur monster that was purple and red. Its back was also on fire. I'll end my turn here losers. The bald kid said. My turn, I draw. Naruto announced as he draws. Since you've got a monster on your field and I'm able to summon my Earth Armor Ninja 1,600 1,200. A brown-clad armored ninja erupted from the ground kneeling in front of Naruto. Now I'll bring out Air Armor Ninja 1,400 1,400. A green tornado erupted only to vanishing, revealing a green-clad armored ninja. Next I activate Angel Baton, this lets me draw 2 cards, then discard 1. Naruto announced slotting a card. Now I activate Air's ability, once a turn I reduce the level of a ninja mons on my field by 1, so now Earth's a level 4, 5-4. Now I'll overlay both level 4 ninjas. Naruto announced, a red vortex appeared drawing in the 2 ninjas as green and orange energy. Iziz summoned Blade Armor Ninja 2,200 1,000, a massive green tornado erupted from the vortex, a warrior descended within the pillar. He was wearing dark red armor, with yellow pieces on his shoulder, arm, and waist guard. He also wore a black hood on his head and he had 2 red eyes and a 1 yellow horn. On his back was a special sword sheath that looks like it rotates and it stored 2 katanas. What the? This twerp can Ziz summon? Gen shouted in shock. And Ziz monsters wow Yaya gasped in awe. You bet I can and by using an overlay unit my ninja's able to attack twice this round. Naruto announced holding up his sword absorbing the overlay unit. Now I activate the magic card Mystical Space Typhoon to wipe out your face down card Fatso. Yaya called out as a strong wind erupted blowing away Gen's face down. Now Blade attacked Jirac Protops. Blade drew out his sword, slicing the large Dino in half. Gen Bold Goon. 4,000 3,500. Now Blade attack him directly. Naruto shouted as his ninja struck the bald bully once again. Gen bald goon. 3500 to 1200. No way you dumbass. How did you screw up like this? Gen shouted yo his flunky who lowered his head in shame. Alright Yaya, you can take the final blow. Naruto said, giving the boy a thumbs up, earning a nod from Yaya. My turn, I draw. Yaya said as he draws. I summoned Skullcrabat Joker, 1800-100. Yaya summoned a monster that resembled somewhat of a clown with black clothing, striped shorts, pointed boots, a black mask and blonde hair. When Skullcrabat Joker is normal summoned, I can add one entermate, magician or odd eyes monster from my hand. Yaya announced. Now I tribute my Joker in order to special summon one of my star performers. Entermate sleight of hand magician, 2500-2000. Appearing was a monster resembling a court jester, in a red cloak billowed in the wind as it touched down on the ground, and it gazed at the bullies through its mask, which resembled a cross between a medieval knight's helmet and a jester's hat. The bottom portion of its body resembled Yaya's pendant. I activate my magician's effect. By discarding a card from my hand I can destroy one of your cards, so say goodbye to Boulder Battlegourd. Yaya called out, snapping his finger, causing the obese ogre to vanish in a puff of smoke. Now sleight of hand magician attack his granite battleguard. Yaya shouted. Performance magic. The jester magician's lower half glowed as he unleashed his multicolored beam of energy, wiping out the muscular ogre. Gen bald goon. 1200-0. I lost, this can't be. How could I be beaten by the son of a worthless coward? Gen shouted, slamming his fist on the ground. You couldn't stand up to Yaya's new dueling style, huh? Naruto smirked. Why you little punk, I got. Gen shouted as he was punched clean across the face by none other than Yaya, knocking him to the dirt. If you think I'm just gonna sit back and be your little punching bag again, then you're wrong, now get lost. Yaya shouted. For a brief moment his eyes gained yellow tint, scaring the bully, who rose to his feet and quickly ran away with his lackey not far behind. Yaya took a deep breath before giving a heavy sigh. Feeling a bit relieved, all the pent-up rage and aggression he had held inside for so long being released. You okay, Yaya? Naruto asked. Yeah, for the first in a while now I'm starting to feel okay. Yaya said as he soon noticed the sun starting to go down. Oh, it's getting late, I'd better get home. Yeah, I've gotta get back home too. Naruto said. Thanks again, Naruto. I've got some things to start thinking about. Yaya said, lowering his head. You sure you'll be alright, Yaya? Naruto asked. Yaya offered a small smile and nodded. The two boys gave a final wave to one another as Yaya walked away, leaving. Naruto smiled as he watched Yaya walk off. He hoped that Yaya could ease the pain in his heart. Good luck, Yaya. Naruto said, holding up his card, releasing a bright flash of light. Naruto soon found himself back in the hospital room. He looked up into the sky, hoping the best for his new friend. Naruto heard a knock at the door and saw it slowly open. Entering this room were two young girls around Naruto's age. The first girl was Tenton, and the other was a little girl with featureless wide eyes and dark blue hair that she keeps in a haim cut. This is Hinata, Hyuga, heiress of the Hyuga family. Tenton, Hinata, nice to gak. Naruto shouted as he was tackled by both girls, who cried into his chest, causing the boy to frown as he rubbed the back of their heads. Naruto. Naruto. A loud voice shouted, running down the halls into Naruto's room. He was a fair-skinned young boy with white hair with red highlights and blue eyes. He wore a white shirt with a blue jacket. This boy was Takeru Hamura, another childhood friend of Naruto's. Hey Takeru. Naruto said, waving to the boy. Good to see you're okay, buddy. Takeru said, holding up his fist, which Naruto bumped. Glad to see that you're alright, we were all worried about you. Takeru said with a smile. Before the four friends could celebrate further, one of the Anbu appeared. Naruto-sama, Lord Hokage requested that I come escort you to the Namikaze estate at once. The Anbu stated, causing Naruto to glare. Naruto knew there was no point in arguing with an Anbu. With a reluctant sigh he broke his embrace with Tenton and Hinata, looking at them with a silent promise to meet up with them again. They all watched Naruto accompany the Anbu before vanishing in a swirl of leaves. The Anbu and Naruto soon arrived at the Namikaze estate, where both his parents were waiting for him. Naruto turned his attention to Minato and Kushina and saw that they had hopeful smiles on their faces. He looked at them with a neutral face and walked forward, making the two parents gain hope in their hearts, but it vanished when he changed his direction and walked towards his room. Itsuko stepped out to see her brother walking down the halls. Naruto, hey, but Naruto didn't even spare her a glance as he made his way to his room, shutting the door behind him. Once he was in his room, Naruto sat down at his desk, pulling out several blank cards, tapping his chin while pulling out his notebook and pen, and slowly got to work writing. Naruto flipped throughout his notebook, looking over the various pictures he had drawn of duel monsters. One dream he had had was also being a card designer, and so he always found himself filled with different creative ideas. Alright then, let's see if this works. Naruto said as he took a card, placing it upon the page of the monster, releasing a bright purple flash as the image appeared onto the blank card. Nice, I always wanted to be card designer. Naruto said with a smile, flipping through several pages before taking out a blank card. Naruto soon heard a knock at the door. Naruto, dinner's ready. His mother said, causing Naruto to roll his eyes. The Namikaze family sat down to eating a steaming bowl of Kushina's famous ramen. The parents watched their son eat his food in silence, without sparing them a single word. Once he was done, he walked over to the sink to clean his dish. Nari-chan, it's okay, I can take care of that. Kushina said with a motherly tone. You just got out of the hospital, so you shouldn't be straining yourself. But you Uzumaki-san, but I'm more than capable of doing something as simple as washing a dish. Naruto said. Kushina frowned, sensing that her son thought she was belittling him. Once he was finished washing his dish, Naruto made his way to his room. I wonder what Yaya and Serena are up to right now. I hope that both doing okay. Naruto said, looking up at the ceiling. Minato sat in the bedroom with his wife, who was looking through their family photo album. Much to her sadness and shame, she could hardly find many pictures of them as a complete family, with Naruto barely in any of them. The Uzumaki clan had always valued family over everything, and only now was she beginning to see just what his actions had started to cost her. Minato frowned, seeing his beloved wife sad, but he couldn't blame her. He too was starting to realize the consequence his actions had taken. Flashback. What do you mean that the prophecy has changed? Minato shouted in outrage. It's just as I said, Minato, the prophecy has changed. Jiraiya replied. The elder Toad Sage said so himself. What does it say now? Minato asked, curious about what this new prophecy was about. Ones who bears the powers of the dragons and inherited the power of the legends, they shall unlock the door to a new power unknown. Others will gather to them and together carve out a path that shall lead to the world's elevation or its destruction. Jiraiya said. So what do you think it means? Minato asked. I feel it may still relate to Natsuko, given she's inherited your old dragon deck and both you and Kushina are legends among duelists yourself. But at the same time, this could mean that there is another factor that we didn't take in. There may be another child connected to the prophecy. Jiraiya stated, much to Minato's shock. So you mean there is a chance that there is another child of prophecy besides Natsuko? Minato asked. Jiraiya nodded. I think it's best if we keep an eye out on the other children within the village to see who could be likely candidates. Jiraiya stated. Minato cupped his chin as he thought of his mentor's words. If it's true that there were more than one child of prophecy, it would be best to keep a lookout for who this other child could be. Flashback end. Minato was brought out of his thoughts when he heard the soft sobs of his wife as she looked over the family picture the family had taken when the twins were born. She ran her hands over the picture as tears fell from her eyes. This was the happiest day of their lives, the day their children entered their lives. She ran her fingers over the picture of a smiling baby Naruto, who had a wide happy smile on his face. How could I have forgotten my own child? Kushina said, holding the book to her chest as her husband hugged her from behind. He kept mumbling the words, he's just going through a rebellious phase. And with that, it's done. Naruto said, setting down several sets of cards on his desk. So these are the new cards you've created, Naruto-sama. Blade Armor Ninja said, kneeling before his master. Naruto nodded. Yep, these guys are gonna really shake things up. He said with confidence, holding the cards in his hand. Within, in the depths of darkness, a small orb hovered, veins throbbing inside as it began to pulsate with the powers of darkness seeping within it. Soon my return will be at hand, and this world will fall before me once again, a deep sinister voice spoke up. The new day had come, with Naruto walking through the village to a special training ground by the lakeside. This was a place Naruto felt most comfortable, where he had no worries and could avoid the troubles of his family life. Well then, time to take these guys out for a test run. Naruto said, holding onto his deck. He looked over to see a wooden duel puppet marching his way towards him with a dual disc attached to its arm. Naruto smirked, inserting the deck into his dual disc. Duel. Naruto shouted, drawing his hand, while 5 holograms appeared in front of the drone. First turn. The drone announced, drawing its card. Summoning Mechanicalchaser, 185800, in attack mode. My turn, I draw. Naruto said. He draws. I set a monster face down in defense mode and end my turn. A set monster appeared in defense's position. Second turn, summoning Robotic Knight, 1600-1800, in attack mode. The drone announced. Now commencing attack. First, Mechanicalchaser attack face down target. The drone declared as the 6-armed machine launched its weapons down, destroying Naruto's face down monster, revealing it to be a red and gold dragon that resemble a revolver in green lines with 2 armored arms and green wings with a bullet as its helmet. That was my auto rocket dragon, and when he destroyed, I can special summon a new rocket monster from my deck. Come out, Explode Rocket Dragon, 2000. Naruto shouted as a new dragon appeared, this one far larger, a bronze-armored serpent dragon with glowing green energy wings, 2 clawed arms and bullet head helmet. Ending turn. The drone stated. Supplementing one face-down card. My turn, I draw. Naruto said, drawing his card. I activate the field spell Reboot Sector Launch, with this card once per turn I can use one of its 2 special abilities. Naruto announced. So since you control more monsters than I do, I'm able to special summon to rocket monsters from my hand in defense mode. Naruto announced. Mount Magna Rocket Dragon, 1800-1200, Silver Rocket Dragon, 1900-100. Naruto shouted as 2 new dragon appeared on his field. The first was a blue and red dragon with blue armor and green wings and a bullet helmet on his head. The second a silver long dragon with gold accents and magenta wings with a long tail with a silver bullet head. Also my field spell gives all rocket monsters an extra 300 ATK def points. Naruto stated as his dragons gained a seep red and green aura, 2000 2000s to 2300 2300, 1800 1200 to 2100 1500, 1900 100 2200 400. Next I summon Auto Rocket Dran, 1600 1000, in attack mode. Naruto said as the heavy armored dragon appeared with a red glow, 1600 1000 to 1900 1300. But he won't be here for long because I activate Squib Draw now. By destroying Auto Rocket, I can draw 2 cards. Naruto said. Auto Rocket shattered into particles forming 2 cards in Naruto's hand. And like before I can call out a new rocket monster, come forth Exploder Rocket Dragon, 2000 2000s. A second Exploder Rocket emerged on the field. 2000 2000s to 2300 2300. A smirk spread over Naruto's face as he held up his hand. I overlay my level Magna Rocket and Silver Rocket Dragons. Naruto declared as both his dragons shattered in purple particles as a large golden galaxy started to form up beneath him, drawing in both monsters. My new wind that pierces through the closed world. Naruto chanted as an explosion erupted from the galaxy. Zisummon. Appear now, Borilode Dragon, 3000 2500s. The dragon that appeared was a red, metallic dragon with robotic black-gray body parts from its torso, knees, head, shoulders and arms. It also has green glowing strips across its body too. The wings, connected to its shoulders, were large 6 green energy-like wing in appearance. Its long red tail had black-green strips across it. The head has large black-green strip horns with bright blue glowing eyes. Now I activate Mystical Space Typhoon, so say goodbye to your face-down card. Naruto shouted as a strong gust of wind blew away the drone's face-down card. Now it's time to end this. Explode rockets, take out those 2 pieces of scrap metal. Both dragons fired off a volley of bullets on the 2 machines, shattering them both in 2 small explosions. Drone. 402650. Now Borilode Dragon wipe out the rest of his life points. Naruto called out as his dragon opened its jaws, gathering up energy. Barrel Cannon of Lightning. Naruto shouted as his dragon unleashed a powerful blast, blasting straight through the drone, causing it to fall to the ground, with a hole in its chest, sparks flying through its chest. Well, that was a nice test drive, shame I didn't get to use Borilode's effect, but that would probably been overkill. Naruto said, smirking as he held up Borilode Dragon. Well then, let's move on to the next test. Naruto said as several more drones approached him as he gained a feral grin, a massive savage red aura flowing around him. Heartland City. Ziz Dimension. The sight of smiles and laughter filled the utopian city of Heartland, a place where smiles were abundant and dueling was loved by everyone. Heartland had been founded and built by a scientist known as Faker Tenjo, who built it as a place where everyone could enjoy and love dueling. Aiding him was his good friend Byron Archlight, who agreed with him. Both of them had sons who enjoyed dueling, and so it was thanks to their inspiration that they were able to make their dream a reality where everyone could gather to enjoy dueling with a smile on their face. Well, now doesn't everyone look so happy in my perfect little city? A man said, looking up from the top of Heartland City Tower. He wore a green suit which covers a yellow shirt, a pair of stylish orange glasses with a crimson V shape similar to a heart in the center. His hair was a similar green to his suit with a lighter green fringe. This man was Mr. Heartland, the mayor of Heartland City, as well as its mascot. Heartland had grown up as an employee of Dr. Faker, helping him in the city's development. Once it was finished, he was so in awe of its splendor that he went so far as to change his name to Heartland. He took part in the first election and became the city's first mayor, an honor he took very seriously. Heartland had made every appearance he made to the public a spectacle. Heart burning. A large hologram of Heartland shouted, striking a pose shooting of heart-shaped fireworks behind him. Heartland smirked, pleased with himself. He would always take the opportunity to show the people of his city. But despite all of that, he knew that the city would never truly be his. The title of mayor was nothing more than a figurehead position, second only to that of Dr. Faker himself, who truly owned the city. No matter what he did, he would always find himself in the scientist's shadow as the people cheered for him whenever he passed by without any style or flash at all. It's frustrating, isn't it? A voice said, startling Heartland, who turned behind him only to find nothing. A dark chuckle soon filled the room, causing the man to search around the room, frantically trying to find the source. "Who's there, where are you?" Heartland demanded. Suddenly he saw something forming up beneath his feet. Slowly emerging from the dark was what appeared to be a child. He wore a purple kimono with light sleeves and a straw hat reaching down to its ankles. "Greetings to you," the boy greeted. "Who, what are you?" Heartland asked, slightly taken aback in fear of the small child in front of him. "My name is of no consequence," the boy said. "What I can tell you is that I can make your desire of ruling over this city a reality." "I don't have any idea what you're talking about," Heartland replied. "Don't lie, you seek to rule this city as your own personal playground where the people love you and treat you like a king. Where the name is nothing more than a simple memory lost to the sands of time. I can help you make that dream of reality," the boy said. "You must have me confused with someone else. I'd never dream of trying to betray. He's a man I hold the utmost respect for," Heartland stated with sincerity. "Your kind smile may fool everyone else, but I can see through it. I know much about your true past, such as when you were the leader of the fearsome four of the dark dueling world," the boy said, causing Heartland to stiffen up in fear. How did this boy know about that? He had used all his resources and influence to wipe out any records of his past. "You were a con man who used his smooth talk to gain the confidence of many people and rob them blind. You then used it to form your own underground dueling syndicate to put the underworld under your thumb. When you heard about the Heartland project funded by the wealthy scientist Dr. Faker, you saw the opportunity to build a new empire. You used your connections to control and win the first election and maintained your hold over it ever since then, using the mask of a joyful happy man to gain the trust of all those around you, leaving the dampness of the dark for the glamour of the light. However, through all of that you've still been kept in the darkness, overshadowed by Dr. Faker," the boy stated as Heartland stood frozen like a statue, his eyes widening in shock. The boy couldn't have been more than 6 years old, yet he knew all this. As he looked into those clear wide eyes, it was as if he was staring into the depths of his own soul. "I can help you achieve that desire if you wish," the boy said, sticking out his hand. Heartland looked at the boy with a hint of doubt in his eyes as well as fear. He held out his trembling hand, taking hold of the boy's, his hand causing a mass of darkness to spread over his hand as black veins started to show up over his arm. "Aye. Heartland screamed, his cries silenced by the darkness surrounding the room. Naruto woke up with a soft yawn, scratching his nose before jumping out of bed and performed his daily ritual, taking a shower, brushing his teeth, then getting dressed. He then made his way to the kitchen, making himself 2 slices of toast before making his way out of the compound. As he walked towards the door, he heard the sounds of footsteps and looked up to see his sister Natsuko standing atop the stairs. Both twins looked at each other for a brief moment, but Naruto paid her no mind and simply walked out. Naruto walked through the streets. As he did, he could notice many of the looks that several villagers were giving him, having heard about what happened between him and his sister. Naruto didn't bother to pay them any attention and simply focused on himself. He had never needed the village's attention before, and he didn't need I now. "Hey Naruto." Someone called out, catching Naruto's attention as he turned to see Tenton standing outside her family's shop waving. "Hey Tenton," Naruto said, walking over to the older girl. "Naruto, it's nice to see that you're doing okay," Kid said, walking out to greet Naruto. "Thank Auntie Kid," Naruto said with a smile. "You sure had us all worried. My little panda-chan wouldn't stop asking to come and see you," Kid said with a smile, causing Tenton to blush. Mom. Don't go saying things like that," Tenton shouted in embarrassment. Ara, you're looking a little red, Panda-chan," Kid teased, causing her daughter to give her a stern glare that only made her giggle. "Hey, anyways Naruto, I wanted to give you this to you when you got out of the hospital yesterday," Tenton said, handing a card to Naruto. The blonde looked the card over and saw that it was United We Stand, a very useful card. "Wow, thanks Tenton, this card's amazing," Naruto said with a smile. "Why yeah, well I had an extra one in my deck and figured you could use it," Tenton said, rubbing the back of her head. Naruto smiled. This card would do great in his decks, but more importantly this card would also represent something very important to Naruto: the bonds he forged with his friends. "If you're ever free Naruto, we would love it if you'd come to dinner sometime," Kid said with a smile. "Sure, I'd love to," Naruto said with a smile. "Well, I better head home. See you Ten-chan, and thanks for the card," he said, waving goodbye to his friend and going about his way. "You know Panda-chan, Naruto will grow up to be a handsome young man in the future," Kid whispered to her son. "Mom," Tenton shouted, groaned at her mother's teasing. Naruto once again stood at the Konoha training grounds, taking a look at his deck, which was kept in a pure black deck case with an orange flame spiral dragon etched into it. Since Naruto had been taken out of the hospital, he had taken the time to update his deck, but more importantly he had become curious about the new cards that he had recently obtained. He had been curious about them at first, but as he thought back to his time wandering in his mind, he suddenly heard the name of the cards come to his mind. Naruto was currently engaged in a duel against a sliver wooden duel drone. Its eyes were pure red with 01 on its chest. Currently on its field. Naruto. 4000. Drone. 4000. First turn, summoning Karakuri MDL 224 Nanishi, 1900, attack mode. The drone announced, appearing was a man-mad wooden clockwork machine dressed in a green kimono with a pink obi and a traditional hairstyle. Karakuri, that's the deck that the first Hokage was said to use back in his day. Naruto said, seeing the wooden ninja. It wasn't just a coincidence, these drones were made of wood they once used in battle as ninja puppets meant to be used in combat, created by the Hashirama Senju, using his wood style and infusing them with spirit energy to give them life. He had made them in the image of one of his close dual spirits, the wood spirit Impachi. The Karakuri deck was now made public, but only a select few cards were produced, those not among them being the ace monsters of Hashirama that he had used to face against his longtime rival Madara Uchiha. Activate spell, Dark World dealings. Now both duelists must discard one card, then draw one card. The drone announced as both Naruto and the drone discarded a card from their hand, then drew a card. Inishi effect activates while on the field. Its controller is allowed an additional summoning once per turn, summoning Karakuri Ninja MDL 919 Kook 1700-1500. Setting face down card, turn end. The drone finished. My turn, I draw. Naruto announced, I summon Flame Armor Ninja 1700-1000 in attack mode. Naruto declared as the flame-clad armored ninja appeared. And he's not alone, because thanks to my armor ninjutsu art of teleportation, with this I can summon a second ninja as long as its attack is less than or equal to flames. Come out Aqua Armor Ninja 800-1600s. A ninja jumped from the lake landing beside his brother ninja dressed in a blue armored guy. Now I overlay both my level 4 ninjas and build the overlay network. Naruto declares as a red vortex appeared, drawing in both monsters as red and blue energy. Is summon come out Tsubaba General 2000-2000s. The heavy armored swordsman smashed up from the ground, raising up his large sword, his cape flowing behind him as his eyes hardened for battle. I activate Tsubaba General's effect using an overlay unit. I can equip him with warrior monster from my hand. I equip Air Armor Ninja 1400-1400. Naruto shouted, swiping his card across his disc while his general raised his sword as a green aura covered his body 2000-3400-2000. Naruto looked over both monsters on his opponent's field. That face down is defiantly for when I attack his weaker monster, so Naruto smirked. Now Tsubaba attack his Kook. Kook affected activates when chosen as an attack target, its position switches. Kook soon to a kneeling stance as Tsubaba brought down his sword. Damn it, guess I've got not other choice. Tsubaba attack Nanishi. Naruto called out. Nanishi effect, when chosen as an attack target its battle position switches. The drone announced as his second monster took a knee. Damn, no matter when I do I can't do any damage to his life points and he still hasn't used his face down. But Nanishi's effect can be a real problem. Tsubaba take out Nanishi. Tsubaba brought down his sword, smashing the wooden geisha to splinters. I end my turn. Naruto said. Second turn, summoning second Nanishi 1900 in attack position. The drone declared as the clockwork geisha reappears. Tuning level 3 Nanishi with level 4 Kook. The drone announced as Nanishi became 3 transparent rings around Kook as a pillar of light exploded behind the drone. Synchro summoning level 7 Karakuri Shogun MDL00 Bure 2600-1900. A huge Karakuri, almost 8 feet tall, appeared on the field. Unlike the others, this one was made completely of metal, designed to resemble a set of oriental plate armor, which was covered with sharp edges. It held 2 huge swords and had a scarlet cape. Bure, that was one of Old Man Hashirama's aces back in the day. Naruto said, having read about the card from his books. Bure's effect when summoned allows owner to special summon one Karakuri monster from the deck. Summoning Karakuri Ninja MDL Nanashik 2200-1800. A new Karakuri monster soon appeared on the drone's field. It was dressed similar to Kook, but had curved blades for hands. Bure's second effect, once per turn owner is allowed to change the battle position of one monster on the field, selected monster Tsubaba General. The drone announced as Bure raised his gun by fan and with a heavy swing, caused a powerful gust of wind, forcing Tsubaba General to kneel. Ah, not good. Naruto gulped. Commencing attack, Nanashik attacks Tsubaba General. Nanashik swung several gear kunai, striking the massive warrior before slicing him in half with his own blade. Commencing second attack, Bure attacked player directly. The drone stated. The Shogun raised up his fan, summoning up a blustering wind, causing a small tornado to erupt around Naruto, who grunted in pain as he held up his arms in X block. Naruto. 4,2600. Man, this old deck isn't any joke. Naruto said, smirking a bit at the challenge he was facing. It would seem young Naruto is coming a long ways with his training, isn't he? Heracti stated, looking at Naruto from within the forest. An unknown figure standing behind her, looking at the boy with a smile on her face. Yes, he certainly is doing a good job. Though that new dragon deck he created certainly wasn't what I would expect from a chosen hero. The other woman said. But then that's been true for many legendary duelists. Heracti chuckled. That is true, I must say that's true. She replied. How has your own chosen hero come along so far, old friend? The woman asked. He's been having an inner struggle with accepting what he had been told, but I can feel a new strength growing within him. I'm certain he will unlock his full potential. The creator of light remarked. The other woman nodded, looking over to Naruto, cupping her chin, gazing at Naruto. I move, I draw. Naruto looked over at the card he'd drawn and his eyes widened. This is one of those cards. Naruto said, looking at the card in his hand before looking over at the other card, which gained a bright glow. Odd eyes. Naruto uttered, looking at his trusted ace. A smile spread over his face, and he nodded. I activate the spell card of demise. This lets me draw 5 cards, and if I don't use them in 5 turns, I lose them in 5 turns. And now, using scale 1 Black Fang Magician and scale 8 Violet Poison Magician, I set the pendulum scale. Naruto announced, setting the cards on the far ends of his dual disc. Suddenly 2 pillars of light appeared beside Naruto. In the right appear was a female magician dressed in thin purple armor, dark green robed magician with light purple skin, wearing a red visor, holding a whip-shaped staff with a sinister grin on her face with a 1 under her. In the left was a bulky male magician with dark green hair and dark eyes, wearing a black, dark green and purple colored robe, with long loincloth and short cape, holding a staff with an object resembling a fang at its tip with an 8 under him. Swing forth pendulums. Carve for the path that leads me to victory. Naruto shouted, raising up his fist as a burning red aura erupted from him. The portal opened between the pillars as 3 lights shot downwards. Draconic magicians appear, Iris Magician, 1500-1000, and White Wing Magician, 1600-1400. Naruto declared as 2 new magicians appeared on his field. The first was a young man with raven black hair with dual-colored red and green eyes, wearing a bright thick red, black and grey armored robes, with large blue gems fitted into the shoulders and cape. Hanging down around his waist was a long ornate red and black armored shirt holding a sword. The second was a young woman with pink hair wearing a white, blue and black colored outfit with a see-through green wide skirt with blue-white colors, as well as blue high heels, wide sleeves and transparent green wings, and a small staff. Finally, the ferocious dual-eyed dragon, Odd Eyes Dragon, 2500-2000. Naruto shouted as his dragon appeared. Red spikes ran down its long purple neck, starting from its sharp golden beak. 2 gems, 1 diamond-shaped and 1 spherical, were implanted in the creature's head. The serrated claws on its hands were cream-colored, elegantly matching the pointy horn-like growths on its back. Wrapped around the dragon's torso was a similarly colored chest plate, bound together with 2 more lavender gems. Splashes of red and green glinted in the artificial sun as the monster's eyes illuminated. Quick play spell activate golden gear box, effect boost selected monsters at points by 500, def by 1500, selected monster bureau, 2600 1900 to 3100 3400. That's not gonna stop me, cause I play United We Stand. Naruto shouted as Odd Eye scales gained a golden glow as his heterochromatic eyes flaring up. 2500 2000 to 4900 2000. Battle Odd Eyes Spiral Flame Strike. Naruto shouted as his dragon roared, flashing off a blast of organ swirling flames incarnating bureau. Drone. 4000-2100. The Odd Eyes special ability activates. When my partner destroys a monster, I'm able to deal you damage equal to half that destroyed monster's at points. Drone. 2100-800. And now Iris Magician attack his Nanushik. Naruto declares as his swordsman magician. Nanushik's effect activates, changing its battle position. The drone declared as the clockwork ninja kneeled. I activate the effect of Violet Poison Magician in my Pendulum Zone. I can choose a dark-type spellcaster and give it 1200 extra at points, 1500 1000 to 2700 1000. Iris Magician smiled as he held up his sword, while Violet Poison raised her whip, clenching it tight as Iris Magician gained a dark glow, striking down Nanushik. Now White Wing Magician direct attack. Naruto shouted as his female magician took to the skies, raising up her wand as beams of green energy are aimed down upon the drone, causing it to short-circuit before falling to the ground. Drone. 800-0. Alright. Naruto shouted, jumping into the air with his fist raised on victory, his monsters cheering beside him. Pendulum summoning. This power, it belongs to me. Naruto said, looking over the 4 cards he had in his hand, smiling at them, feeling a surge of power running through him. Unknown to Naruto, 2 figures were watching him from above with great interest. So that's the new chosen duelist, huh? A voice said, watching over Naruto as he continued with his duel training, looking at the boy with a rather skeptical look. You have your doubts about the boy? Another more gentle voice replied. He has some skill, but I wonder if it would be enough to face what's about to come. The other said, cupping his chin. Well then, I guess only time will tell. The other man said. Naruto packed up his deck and soon made his way back home. Kushina hummed as she was preparing to make dinner. She took notice of her son's door being open. Curiosity getting the best of her, she opened the door to find the room was empty. Mitsuko, do you know where your brother is? Kushina asked, looking over at her daughter as she was reading a book. I saw him leave out the house earlier, but I don't know where he went. Mitsuko replied. Kushina became concerned hearing this. The doctor had said that Naruto's injuries had been completely healed, but something inside her said otherwise. Since he had come back home, Naruto had seemed different. She soon heard the door open and looked to see Naruto walking into the room. Nari-chan, where have you been? Kushina asked. I was just out doing some training. Naruto said. Next time you should let us know when you're going to be pit late, I was worried about you. Kushina said with scolding tone, causing Naruto to roll his eyes. Yeah right. Naruto whispered as he made his way to his room. He saw his twin sister walking down the hall across from him. Both twins gave each other a glance, standing silently. Naruto clicked his tongue as he walked into his room while Natsuko looked at the closed door. Naruto, Natsuko uttered. Ever since the incident when she lost control of herself and the spirit of the Kyuubi took hold of her, deep feelings she had held back had come bubbling to the surface. Never forget, Natsuko, you're a very important girl, you are the one meant to protect everyone. I have to protect everyone. I'm the only one who can do it. Natsuko said, resolutely clenching her fist. Just who does she think she is, scolding me like that after she ignores me all these years like I don't exist? Naruto said, upset with his mother's attempt at scolding him. Are you alright, master? Blade Armor Ninja asked his master. No, I'm nor Blade, it took me nearly getting killed for my family to finally notice me. It was like I didn't even exist to them. Naruto said, clutching his fist in anger. It's just so damned frustrating. He said, sitting down on his bed. Blade lowered his head, hearing how his master was feeling. He knew all too well the pain that he was going through, having watched Naruto grow up the last 2 years, neglected by his family in favor of Natsuko, as well as by the people of the village. A parent's love should be absolute, not selective. But apparently his parents did not get that basic fact. Minato had in his study, going over what he had recently been told about the prophecy from his teacher. While the texts had been altered, he was still apparently certain that Natsuko was one of the chosen children that the prophecy had spoken of. He had also heard some information concerning a disturbance in the spirit world, which was in itself troubling, given only a very select few wielded the power to interact with the dual spirits. Minato. A voice spoke up, catching him out of his thoughts as he looked to see his wife standing at the door of his study. Kushina, is there something wrong? Minato asked. I've just been thinking about Naruto and how distant he had been since he came back from the hospital. It's been nearly a month so far and he hasn't said so much as a word to us. Kushina said, looking down towards the ground. Don't worry, Kushina, I'm sure that in time things will go back to the way they used to be. Minato said, giving a reassuring smile. At least that's what he hoped would happen. But he wasn't entirely certain about it now. Something had defiantly changed about Naruto in the past week since his accident. He had been a bit more reclusive, rarely coming out of his room except to go outside, most likely to visit his friends. Naruto opened his eyes too soon, found himself inside of an icy cavern he had never been to before, walking throughout the cave with curiosity. Hello? Is anybody out there? Naruto shouted, hearing rustling in the corner, and turned over to see something shaking. Excuse me, can you tell me where I am? Naruto said, reaching forward only for the creature to go in the opposite direction, with Naruto giving chase. Hey wait! Naruto yelled, giving chase. After running through the cave, Naruto soon came to stop to see just what he had been chasing. It was a tiny sentient purple tadpole-like creature with a perfectly spherical body and large adorable eyes, but its most noticeable trait was the rainbow diamond-shaped horn on its forehead. Kuri kuri kuri. The creature squealed. Kuri. Oh, I get it, you're a Kuribo. Naruto said, kneeling in front of the little tadpole, rubbing its head gently, causing the little fiend to purr. Aren't you an adorable little guy? Naruto said. Well, aren't you an interesting pair? A voice said, catching Naruto's attention as he looked up to see a young man approaching him from the cave. He appeared to be a young man around his 20s, he had a well-toned build, he wore a black choker, a black muscle shirt showing off his physical attribute, blue pants with a loose belt hanging off them, with a couple of wrist chains. He also had the oddest hairstyle Naruto had ever seen, it was divided into 3 different colors. Blonde, crooked, pointy locks with 5 large spikes and 2 smaller spikes colored black with a magenta sheen along the edges. His face held a serious expression, but his eyes showed innocence with a kind smile. Naruto's eyes widened with realization knowing who this man was. "You're Yugioh, the king of games." Naruto gasped in shock seeing the legendary duelist standing in front of him. "So you know who I am?" Yugi said. "Of course I do, you're one of the legendary duelists. The first to ever hold the title of king of games." Naruto said with aura of excitement in his eyes. "Well, it's nice to see my reputation precedes me even now." Yugi chuckled. "Yeah man, this is so cool." Naruto shouted with stars in his eyes, he soon realized he was starting to act like some starstruck fanboy and quickly calmed himself down. Sorry about that." Naruto said scratching his nose. "It's quite alright." Yugi said waving off Naruto's concerns. "So I'm guessing that this place is my subconscious, isn't it?" Naruto said looking around the forest. "Yes, you'd be correct about that, this is a space where we are able to communicate with you." Yugi said. "We?" Naruto asked. "He would be referring to us." Another voice said as a figure walked out from behind the pillar. Standing beside Yugi was another young man with brunette hair, he wore a long white sleeveless coat with KC inscribed on the studded collar, the coat features shoulder pads and a black shirt from under the coat, he wore extra belts on his arms and shins. His face held a serious expression, unlike the other man his eyes showed some sort of anger and calmness. "Geez, you're as snobbish as ever, huh rich boy." Another said revealing a third man. This one had blonde hair, he wore a dark green jacket over a purple t-shirt with matching green pants, also dark brown shoes, his face held a warm brotherly expression, his eyes showed a burning spirit in his eyes. "Wosito Kaiba, Joey Wheeler." Naruto gasped seeing the 3 men known widely as the strongest duelist of their generations. "Nice to meet you Naruto." Joey said holding out his hand which Naruto shook while Kaiba scoffed. "The boy doesn't appear to be anything special to me." Kaiba remarked. "Hey. Don't go underestimating me." Naruto shouted raising his fist, his eyes flaring up with anger, thinking back to how his family would treat him. I can see you've got quite the fire in your eyes boy." Kaiba said with a smirk, a blazing white aura surrounding him, while a crimson one covers Naruto. But we aren't here to start any fights, we just came here to introduce ourselves to young Naruto." Yugi said placing a hand on Kaiba's shoulder, causing the young businessman to huff. "Anyways Naruto, by now I'm sure you've already met with one of the goddess of our world, haven't you?" Yugi said. "You mean Heracti?" Naruto asked. "Yes, she was the one informed us about you and informed us that you now bear the mark of the king just as I once did." Yugi said holding up his right hand causing the mark of the millennium items to appear on his hand as well as his forehead. Naruto clutched his right eye feeling it start to throb as it changed. "You can feel the powers we have resonating with one another, can't you?" Yugi said gently placing his hand on the younger boy's shoulder. Naruto felt the throbbing subside as his eye reverted to normal. "The power is still new to you and will take time for you to adjust to it," Yugi said. "Yeah, my eye's still throbbing from that day," Naruto said placing his hand atop his right eye. "I don't see how someone like you has any right to hold the title of king," Kaiba remarked, earning a glare from Naruto. "You want to fight it out here old man?" Naruto shouted with rage in his voice as Kaiba looked at the boy with a smirk. "If you think you've got what it takes then why don't you show me boy?" Kaiba said stepping back as his dual disc appears. Naruto jumped to the side as his own dual disc appeared. "You ready to fight?" Kaiba asked. "Let's go," Naruto shouted. Kaiba. 4,000. Naruto. 4,000. "I'll let you go first old man," Naruto said with a challenging smirk. Kaiba responded with a smirk of his own. "Very well boy, I draw." He shouted as he draws with powerful force behind him, forcing Naruto back. He looked over at Kaiba, who possessed a fearsome white aura covering his body. "I activate the spell card polymerization to fuse my 3 blue eyes white dragons in my hand. Arise blue eyes ultimate dragon, 4500-3800. Kaiba shouted, in a bright burst of light the 3 were replaced by 1. Floating in the air was now a dragon that had the exact same body as a regular blue eyes, except about twice as big, its wings were larger and its tails longer. Out of each shoulder extend an extra blue eyes head making 3 in total, the scales extending behind its head were now longer and more dynamic, its 3 pointed mouth scales were more dynamic with the side tips more like small fins to 1 large spike on each side of its mouth. The dragon also had a black mark on the top of each head as well. Blue eyes, ultimate dragon. Naruto uttered in pure shock at the sight of the fearsome fusion monster that towered over him, with its 3 heads glaring down on him as their jaws opened gathering up blue electrical energy. Kaiba smirked holding up a card in his hand. The last thing Naruto saw was a bright blast of white energy engulfing him. Naruto gave out a loud cry as he was knocked to the ground by the massive dragoon, Naruto. 4000. How the hell is this possible? I didn't even get a turn yet. Naruto groaned looking up at a smirking Kaiba. What's the matter, runt? Where did all that confidence suddenly go? Kaiba said, crossing his arms with a smirk. You cheated. You can't attack me on the first turn, it's against the rules. Naruto shouted, jumping up and down in outrage. Kaiba simply smirked, shrugging his shoulders. Sorry kid, but I won fair and square. I beat you cause I drew this. Kaiba said, showing the blonde-haired boy the card he had drawn. Quick attack. Naruto looked over the card and his eyes widened in realization. Quick attack was an old and even more exceptionally rare card to find in this day and age. The card first been put into distribution following the Battle City tournament. In that time, fusion monsters were required to wait one turn to attack when they were summoned. So many duelists began to seek out cards to bypass that rule, and quick attack was one of them. Aw man, I wasn't expecting a card like that to show up. Naruto groaned, lowering his head. That's is one of the most important rule of dueling, you can never be sure what you'll face. Yugi said, walking up to the younger boy. I've gotta say that card is total OP bullshit. Naruto mumbled. Now I know why it was discontinued. That's true, but fortunately I've managed to keep a good amount of copies in my collection. Kaiba said. Hey, don't be so down about it, Naruto, I've been on the receiving end of cards like that. Joey said, recalling his duels against Siegfried von Schroeder with his mischief of the time goddess. It just shows you've still got a lot more to learn. Yugi said, placing a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Help? Naruto asked. That's right, Naruto. A new voice said as two lights shined down, appearing before Naruto was Heracti. Beside her was another beautiful woman. She had pale skin with delicate facial features. She had extremely long, sweeping white hair and possessed white clear eyes, and her eyebrows were cut very short and round, a symbol of nobility, and she wore a red shade of lipstick on her lips. Her noticeable trait were her two brown horns that stuck out from her head. She wore a high-collared hime kimono which has tama running down the center and edges of the gown and in the anime, adorned with intricate gold and purple lines. Naruto's eyes were shimmering as she looked upon the horned woman, entranced by her. The woman slowly made her way towards Naruto, kneeling down to him, cupping his cheeks, tenderly rubbing his whiskered cheeks. Her eyes reminded her of Hinata and the Hyuga clans, but they held something more to them, something otherworldly, almost deified. The woman smiled at Naruto as she stood up. Who are you? Naruto asked. I am the goddess of this part of the spirit world, Naruto. My name is Kaguya, and it is a pleasure to meet you. Kaguya said, her voice made Naruto feel at ease. It was a feeling he had not felt for so long, the voice of a caring mother. Kaguya was the one who instructed me to meet with you and was the one who entrusted me with those cards I gave you. The goddess of light said, causing Naruto to take out the 4 pendulum cards he had. But why did you give these to me? Naruto asked. Those cards had been waiting for the time you were ready. But due to your unfortunate circumstances I was forced to take action. Kaguya said with a hint of disgust, thinking back to the events Naruto's assault by his rampaging sister. Kaguya had been watching over the human world, observing how that had bastardized what her sons had worked so hard to build, trapping her other offsprings away like wild animals. While she could forgive Kurama for his actions tainted by his enslavement by the humans to the point it consumed his soul. She could not forgive the foolish Toad Elder for once again meddling in matters he did not understand. His visions were only half full and could not grasp the full scope of the future. As such, he could not truly predict its outcome. Now one of his foolish prophecies has almost caused the death of the child who inherited his blood flowing within this boy. Naruto, you have good skills, but you have much to learn, and in that time you will have to undergo serious training if you want to achieve your dream. Kaguya said, placing her hands on Naruto's head. That is why I have asked for these men to come here. They will be the ones to help you achieve that dream. Kaguya said. What, for real? Naruto exclaimed, looking at all 3 legendary duelists. That's correct, Naruto, that is if you're willing to let us. Yugi said, offering his hand to Naruto. Naruto smiled, looking up at Yugi and took a hold of his hand. Suddenly a pink glow erupted from Yugi's deck as a ball of light flew out, revealing a teenage girl in blue robes with a pink skirt and small pink cape. She had long, blonde spiky hair that extended to the middle of her back. On top of her head was a blue wizard's hat with pink rings encircling it. She also wore high-heeled blue boots with pink rings as well. In her hands, she carried a scepter. This was the Dark Magician Girl. Well, now who is this cutie? The Dark Magician Girl said, kneeling down at the now blushing Naruto. Naruto was not afraid to admit he was one of the many people who had a card crush on the beautiful spellcaster. I'm not Naruto. Naruto stutters, causing the Dark Magician Girl to giggle at his shyness. Well, hello there, Naruto, I'm the Dark Magician Girl, but you can call me Mana. The now named Mana said, offering her hand, which Naruto shook. Don't think for a second I'm going to easy on you like Yugi and Wheeler are. I'm a difficult taskmaster and demanded nothing more than the best from all those who work under me. Kaiba said, catching everyone's attention as he narrowed his eyes at Naruto. Naruto returned the glare with equal determination in his eyes. I can take anything you can dish out, old man. Naruto said with conviction. Very good then, Mr. Uzumaki, welcome to my world. Kaiba said, offering his hand to Naruto, who firmly shook it. I don't think Naruto knows what he's got himself into. Joey said with a chuckle. Kaiba can be a hell of a taskmaster. I think Naruto can handle himself. Yugi said. Who knows? Joey said. But you can bet with Kaiba it'll be hell. That's sad but true. Yugi said. On an island that composed of a building the size of a castle or mansion with metal objects that seemed to be floating in the air in a large throne room, sat middle-aged tan-skinned bald man with light blue eyes. He wears a purple-colored militaristic outfit with several black buttons. A purple cape with a black ending, and a pair of grey boots. He also has a black belt with a red line which both end in a button on the front and what appear to be red circular strings across his chest, with a pair of black gloves on his hands. His perhaps most noticeable traits are the armored plate at the left side of his head with what appears to be a red circular lens and pronounced blood vessels on the top of his head. This man was Leo Akaba, leader of academia. He sat within his throne room contemplating his plans, which were currently in reaching into its first stage. Soon he would get back what was taken from him so long ago. Taken by the accursed demon. So has there been any success? Leo asked one of his loyalists. Unfortunately no sir, we have had no luck in securing anyone from these elemental nations you informed us about. In fact, travel to this destination seems almost impossible. The man said while Leo sneered in disappointment at this news. The elemental nations was a land vast with unique resources and humans with what could only be described as superhuman abilities. Many duelists from the nation had taken part in numerous duel monsters competitions. His first time witnessing it was during the first ever exhibition match for the Action Duel tournament, which was between his old friend and partner Yosho Sakaki and Minato Namikaze for Konoha City. During the duel, Minato's fights against Yosho had been some of the most intense his had witnessed the battles, and summoning energy produced unlike anything he had ever seen before and yet to see before. The Leo Corporation had attempted many times to form some sort of alliance with the elemental countries, but they refused them, no doubt in attempt to keep their hidden abilities a secret, and due to them being a souvenir nation, there was nothing he could do to touch them. In the past he thought nothing of it, but now he was seeing the deeper hidden potential in the powers these people. It was none that they somehow possessed a unique power known as chakra, a fusion of spiritual and physical energy, which harnessed granted them the ability to bring the powers of dual monsters into reality to a controlled degree, while some had taken it even farther, even being known to start wars. This deeply piqued his interest to see if this power could be used by academia. The trouble was he hadn't found or acquired a test subject to examine these abilities. Very well, you may leave. Leo said as the man left his throne room. Leo couldn't help but feel his frustration at how his plans seemed to be falling behind schedule. At this rate it may take even longer to carry the Arc Area project that he had hoped. I can sense you hold a great darkness in your heart, Leo Akaba, a voice called out from the shadows, causing Leo to stiffen as he looked down to see a black mass suddenly rise up from the ground. Standing before him was a strange young boy appeared before. Who are you? How did you get in here? Leo demanded, rising up from his throne. Me, I'm your new best friend, the boy said, appearing behind Leo with a wide-toothy grin. I can help you get back your most precious treasure. I can reunite you with the one you miss, your beloved daughter Ray. Leo's eyes widened at the mention of his daughter's name. How did this boy know of her? I think we can both help one another get what we want, the boy said as he held out his hand, summoning up another portal. Rising up from it was a large crystal-like coffin, causing Leo's eyes to widen. Academia Courtyard. Moonlight Cat Dancer, end this duel now. Serena shouted as her ace monster tossed her daggers out, striking down yet another opponent. That's the 10th duelist she's beaten in a row. A yellow uniformed student called out in shock, having witnessed Serena defeat student after student. Serena-sama has been acting rather intense lately. A teacher remarked, watching the blue-haired girl demand for another opponent. Yes, she hasn't been attending any of her special classes and showing a great deal of disrespect to the facility members. This is proving to be very troublesome. A female teacher remarked, narrowing his eyes at the girl. I don't see why the professor puts up with this girl. I have no idea she is supposed to have a vital role as the key to forming our desired utopia. The head of the facility stated sternly. Her growth has been exceptional, though I wonder what could have brought this about. As Serena prepared to face her next opponent, her thoughts couldn't help but wander towards memories of a certain blonde-haired boy. Ah. You crazy bastard, a blindfolded Naruto shouted, running from a cheering horde of dragons chasing after him. This is top help you strengthen your instincts, so stop whining. Kaiba shouted, watching as his monsters chased after the poor boy. What did I get myself into? Naruto shouted, running faster as he was almost chomped by cave-dwelling dragon. At least 2 years have passed since Naruto began his training under Yugi and the others. In that time he had started to learn more than just the ways of dueling. He also had to deal with training from various duel spirits. From the gladiator beasts, Naruto was trained in the art of hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship from Gearfried the swordmaster, who truly lived up to his name since there wasn't a single sword he hadn't mastered. During his tours by the lake he found himself running along the streams, avoid the jaws of ferocious water monsters which Kaiba took some form of sadistic glee in. Through the spellcasters he studied several vitally useful skills, such as the art of healing, which came very useful for healing his wounds after undergoing his harsh training under the 3 legendary duelists. Naruto's ears perked up, swiftly dodging from an incoming axe thrown by Battle Ox, who was standing atop a nearby cliff. Well, looks like this crazy training is paying off, he thought with a smile. The kid's not doing too bad. Joey said, standing by Kaiba and Yugi, who watched Naruto avoid swipes from Battle Ox and Vorse Raider, who swing their respective weapons at the young king in the making. Yes, he's become a fast learner if say so myself. Yugi remarked while Kaiba simply huffed. Don't be like that, Kaiba, you know Naruto has started to grow on you the last few weeks. The young CEO didn't even bother to reply to that remark with a response. Naruto kicked Vorse Raider aside, taking up his blade, swiping into a deadlock against Battle Ox, who flared up his nostrils, swiping his blade as Naruto skillfully evaded his attacks. Naruto was not the only one going through this training. Blade was training against Flame Swordsman and Gearfried, sharpening his sword skills. In his fight hand he wielded the Burning Soul Sword, and in his left Lighting Blade. The 2 powerful blades proved useful in boosting his strength, with his own dual wielding skills assisting him in welding both blades at once. Odd Eyes growled heavily as he was engaged in battle against both Blue Eyes White Dragon and Red Eyes Black Dragon. Both legendary dragons of power and potential had taken it up to teach their younger Eyes Dragon brother, helping him gain more strength through the power of evolution. These past months they could sense Odd Eyes was nearing the stages of his evolution. The dark blue aura surrounding his body, Odd Eyes fired off another blast towards Blue Eyes and Red Eyes, who met the attack with one of their own, erupting in a sizable explosion. Okay Naruto, that's enough battle training for today. Yugi said. Naruto untied his blindfold, smiling up at Battle Ox and Vorse Raider, who nodded at him with smirks of their own as they vanished. Alright master, what's next on the agenda? Naruto said with a hint of excitement, causing Yugi to chuckle. That's all we have planned for today, Naruto. Yugi told his pupil, who frowned. Oh come on. Naruto groaned in disappointment. Hey, don't worry too much Naruto, we've got 4 years till you gotta enter that academy of yours. Joey said. Naruto rubbed his head with a sigh. Yeah, that's true. Naruto said, looking down. Deep down Naruto had wanted to stay here and spend more time with his teachers, cause it was here with them that he felt the most at home, far more than he feels in his own home with his parents and sister, who had ignored them his whole life. Here he felt loved and the familial bond had searched for. He was also feeling uneasy due to what happened today. Flashback. The Namikaze family stood outside the Hokage Tower as a parade was held in the village. As a carriage arrived in front of the tower, Naruto stood next to his sister, dressed in a black kimono with an annoyed expression on his face due to the fact that as the Hokage's son, he was required to attend at important events such as these. Stepping out was a brown-haired man with a headband covering a left eye with a Cloud Village symbol. Ah, greetings, you must be the ambassador from Kumo. I welcome you to Konoha. Minato said, shaking the ambassador's hands. Greetings, Minato-sama. I hope that these peace talks go well for our countries. The ambassador said, shaking Minato's hand. And I see you've brought your family along. His eye landing on the pair of twins, with Naruto narrowing his eyes, untrusting of the man. During that time Naruto was forced to spend time at a stuffy dinner party with the only real person he could talk to being Hinata. Natsuko chanted it up with her 2 friends Ino Yamanaka and Satake Uchiha. Naruto had taken notice he wasn't the only one not happy to be forced, her noticing that Sasuke Uchiha, the Uchiha clan head's second son and Satsuki's younger twin brother, he looked like his was going to die from boredom or annoyance by the groups of fangirls, pestering him like a pack of hens. The Aburam family heir simply sat in his chair, while the Nara and Akamichi heir sat at the banquet table, the latter stuffing his face with food, while the other boy just looked half asleep. You seem like you're enjoying yourself, Naruto. A voice said, causing Naruto to nearly jump out of his clothes, causing the man who tapped him to chuckle. Oh. Don't scare me like that, Orochi Jiji. Naruto said in with an I'm angry eyes, standing behind him one of the 3 legendary Sannin of Konoha and the feared White Serpent King Orochimaru. Orochimaru was a very pale-skinned man, he had golden eyes with slitted pupils, purple markings around his eyes and fang-like teeth, and straight waist-length black hair with some locks covering and framing his face or to his shoulders. He wore a white robe tied at his waist by a dark-colored sash and a purple robe, blue pants and shirt. Orochimaru playfully chuckled at the boy. Oh, do forgive me for that. He said. HMMP, you know sometimes you can be a real creep. No wonder I thought you were a pedophile when we first met. Naruto remarked. He then turned to notice the snake-san huddled in the corner. Yikes, that bothered you more than I thought it would. Sorry about that. Naruto said. It's fine, I'm afraid that I do give off that sort of feeling, don't I? Orochimaru said bashfully. So what brings you here? You usually stay away from social events like this and prefer your privacy in one of lab sites. Naruto said. Like the other San and Orochimaru had taken other pursuits aside from being a duelist, having taken an interest in studying the ancient history concerning the game and furthering developing it. This led him to study about things like solid vision, dual disc mechanics, along with dual sprites, and their connection to the foundation of the elemental nations. Using the wealth his had accumulated over the years, Orochimaru set various laboratories where he could conduct his research. Of course, this would be under the supervision Konoha and submitting any findings he had to Minato. He had came back to Konoha from time to time, and upon one of those trips, he had come across the estranged son of the Hokage whom he found sitting along by the swings. Orochimaru felt for Naruto, having been seen as a somewhat of an outcast by others and having grown up alone, suffering the lack of a parents since his parents had died when he was young. This caused the two bond, sharing a strong fondness for dual spirits as well as Orochimaru, enjoying the various cards Naruto had created in his journal. So have come up with any new cards? Orochimaru asked, his dual monsters geek side showing. Nope, sorry Orochi-jiji, I have made some new cards, but I left my journal at home. Naruto said, causing Orochimaru to lower his head in sadness. Throughout the time he has kept his eyes on the ambassador, noticing the look he was giving Hinata, which greatly infuriated Naruto. Flashback end. Hey, don't sweat it Naruto, you need some rest. Joey said, patting the boy's shoulder. Fine, Naruto signed as he vanished. That kid's got a real fire inside him. Joey remarked, seeing a lot of himself in Naruto. Yes, he has a strong bond with his cards, and that's the mark of great duelist. Yugi stated. Though Kaiba didn't say anything, he too had grown attached to Naruto as well, seeing a bit of himself in Naruto. So Yugi, what did Heracti said about the other one? Kaiba asked. She's watching over him and searching for a suitable teacher for him. Yugi said. It would appear his own powers are starting to awaken sooner than expected, so he'll need to learn to control them when the time comes. Kushina and Natsuko had just finished their training and was busy making ramen. While Natsuko was taking a shower, she soon saw Naruto walking into the kitchen, and to her surprise, she saw that he had a few scratches and bruises. Naruto, what happened to you? Kushina shouted in worry, but Naruto said nothing as he took a sip of water and walked away concerning Kushina as she touched his shoulder. Naruto, please talk to me. Kushina pleaded. Naruto looked back at his mother with a harsh stare before yanking her hand off his shoulder. You never cared enough about what happened to me before. So why do you care now? Naruto asked with venom in his voice. I've always cared about you Naruto, I'm your mother. Kushina said. Yeah right. Naruto said, turning away. You know, I used to believe you cared about me and Natsuko equally. But now I see that I was wrong about that. He said, BF walking away. Binary-chan. Kushina said with sadness in her voice as she watches Naruto walk away. Everyone, I'm home. Minato greeted as he entered. Kushina greeted her husband with a warm hug. Welcome home Mina-kun. Kushina said with a smile. Good to be home Kushi-chan, are the twins home? Minato asked. Yes, is there something wrong? Kushina asked. No, nothing is wrong, I just have some news that I would like to share with them. Minato said. Not too long the family of four was gathered in the living room. Minato and Kushina sitting in the couch across from their two children while Natsuko sat in the opposite couch. Naruto had decided to stand up. So kids, as I'm sure you're both aware, you'll soon be attending the academy in few years. And with that in mind, I have decided that starting today you two will start engaging in more advanced training to prepare you for that time. Minato said with a smile while Natsuko grinned in excitement at the prospect of learning more advanced techniques, hopefully unlocking the ancient cards of the Uzumaki and Namikaze family. Naruto however remained impassive, which caught his parents' attention. Naruto, aren't you excited? This will be the chance for you to train together with us and Natsuko, we can spend some time together like a family. Kushina said with excitement. Naruto simply narrowed his eyes as he turned and walked away from them. Before he could take a step though, he felt a hand touch his shoulder and turned to see his father looking at him with a worried expression. Naruto, what's wrong? Minato asked. What's wrong? What's wrong? You've got some nerve expecting me to just be okay like nothing ever happened. Naruto shouted, shrugging off Minato's hand. I used to believe that you loved me and Natsuko equally, but once we turned 5 everything changed and you acted like I didn't even exist. And now just because you offer to train me I'm supposed just be act like some starstruck happy child. Nari-chan, that's not true, your father and I both. Kushina tried to plead with her son but was cut off. Save it. I don't want to hear whatever stupid reasons you have for doing what you did. I get Natsuko was the keeper of the nine tails, and that required a lot of attention, but the two of you could have at least had shadow clones teach me. But you two couldn't even be bothered to do that. Now after I was almost killed by your pride and joy you want me to be a part of your lives. Well, I've got news for you, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Naruto shouted as he walked away, leaving his family behind in stunned silence. Tears fell from Kushina's eyes as she fell to her knees, hugging herself tightly. Minato walked over his wife and hugged her tightly. Natsuko looked at both her parents with worry and sadness in her eyes, glaring up at the retreating form of her brother, clenching her fist in anger at the pain he was putting their parents through. Naruto, she said in a low growl. Naruto was walking through the streets during the night, kicking a nearby can, feeling his frustration building up from the conversation with his parents. As Naruto is walking past the Hyuga compound, he could sense something and noticed a figure jumping from the wall clad in black with a young girl tossed over his shoulder. "Hinata!" Naruto shouted, startling the man, who turned to see the blonde boy. Naruto's hair began to flare upwards with rage building within him. "What the hell are you doing with Hinata?" Naruto shouted with rage. "Damned brat." The kidnapper growled, pulling out a sword from his back, jumping up with downward slash. Naruto held up his hand as the lighting blade appeared in his hand and with a swift swing, struck the man across his chest, causing him to cough up blood as he dropped Hinata, with Naruto rushing to her catch her. He gently shook Hinata, who groaned as she started to wake up. At hearing the girl coming to, the man growled. He had to deal with this brat here and now before the Hyuga noticed what was happening and caught up with him. "Damned brat," the man said, tossing down a smoke bomb, making a jump away a good distance before he could get away, a black chain drenched in a red aura wrapping around his arm. "You're not going anywhere," Naruto said in a low growl as his right eye began to glow bright red, while his left green with reptilian slits. "You lousy brat, I'm going to crush you," the man said, pulling out his dual disc, swiping a card across his disc, summoning two twin-headed thunder dragons hissing towards Naruto. The fearsome midnight blue aura erupted from Naruto slowly, the transparent form of Odd Eyes appeared, his own heterochromatic eyes shined as his scales began to dark, slowly changing colors from crimson to purplish blue. Demonic bone-like armor began to grow over its body, primarily his chest, arms, legs and head, forming three sharp horns. His claws gained gauntlet-like arms with yellow orb on each arm, with the feet similar with yellow smaller orbs between each claw toe. Its tail is covered in a scale with a sharp spear-like tip, as its face is more serious and scary, with more spikes on its back and a sharp chin. "What hell are you?" the man screamed before he was engulfed by a blast of black and purple swirling flames, sending him flying before crashing hard onto the ground. Naruto heard a groan and turned to see Hinata slowly waking up, rubbing her eyes. "Hinata, are you okay?" Naruto said, kneeling beside the girl, who nodded. "Hinata." Hinata's father shouted as he ran out the compound to see Hinata and Naruto standing in front of an unconscious black-clad figure. "Father?" Hinata said, happily running to her father's side. "Thank goodness you're alright," Hiashi said, rubbing her head. "I am Naruto, was the one who saved me," Hinata said, causing the clan head to look over at the son of the Hokage. "Thank you, Naruto," Hiashi said, grateful to the boy. "It's no problem, Hinata's an important friend," Naruto said before taking his leave. "Naruto, wait." Hinata shouted as she ran over to Naruto and, much to his surprise, kissed his cheek. Naruto blushed, holding his cheek with wide pure white saucer eyes. "Thank you for saving me," Hinata said with a small blush of her own. It was nothing, Hinata, I'll always be there for my friends when they need me," Naruto said with a slight blush, holding his cheek as he walked away from the Hyuga home, just as Hitomi walked out, having seen her daughter kiss the blonde boy. It would seem our little Haim is starting to grow into womanhood." Hitomi giggled, causing both father and daughter to blush on, a fear for his little girl's purity, the other embarrassment. Yaya was making his way home from school today. Once again he had been the subject to teasing and ridicule from some of the kids attending his school, calling him the son of the coward champion. As he was approaching his house, he took notice of his mother standing in front of the house with three men standing in front of her. Well, look how the mighty have fallen." The leader of the men laughed, looking at Yoko, who glared back at them. The once mighty shooting star Yoko reduced to a common housewife and to a worthless coward who ran out on his own family. "Shut your mouth," Yoko growled. "Oh, looks like this kitten still has some claws, doesn't she?" Chubby-looking thug with curly hair laughed. "Mom?" a voice called out, catching everyone's attention as they turned to see Yaya running towards them, only for the third man, a scrawny buck-toothed man, to step in front of him. "Why don't you mind your own business, kid? We're old friends of your mom and we just want to have some fun," the man said. Yaya narrowed his eyes when he heard the word fun. "Yaya, go inside now," Yoko said in a commanding tone with a serious expression on her face. Yaya bit his lip as he remembered the vow he had made to himself. He ran past the man and got between the thugs and his mother, holding out his arms protectively. "No. "I'm not gonna run away, I'm gonna protect my mom no matter what," Yaya declared with utter conviction. The three thugs looked at Yaya with smirks on their faces as they gave off soft chuckles before bursting into full-on laughter. "Well, aren't you a little tough guy? Very impressive for the son of coward," the leader said, marching up. Go the mother-son pair, raising up his hand, slapped Yaya hard, sending him across the ground. "Yaya!" Yoko cried out in horror before glaring at the man who had struck her son. "Bastard!" she shouted, smashing her fist into the leader's chest then across his face. The fat thug tried to tackle Yoko from behind but received a hard elbow to the face, then tossed hard into the scrawny man, causing him to vomit up some spit. The leader got up to his feet, cupping his nose to see blood leaking down to the pavement. "You dirty little bitch," he growled. "No one lays a hand on my son," Yoko said, taking up a stance. The man roared as he threw a punch towards her which she blocked and countered with a hard knee to the man's stomach. The other two men stumbled to their feet, they both glared at Yoko and ran at her, the fat thug swinging punch after failed punch which she easily dodged before knocking him back down with a kick to the face. Yoko and the thug's leader both glared at one another before a certain sound caught their attention. The scrawny thug had a mad grin on his face, holding a switchblade to Yaya's cheek. "Don't make a move, not unless you want something bad to happen to your brat," the man threatened, using the blade to cut Yaya's cheek. Yoko grit her teeth, wanting to smash the bastard's teeth in for daring to cut her baby boy's cheek. Yoko lowered her head as a sign of surrender. The leader of the thugs walked up to Yoko, punching her hard in the stomach, causing her to gasp in pain before falling into the man's arms. "You should have taken the easy say, shooting star, now we've gotta do things the hard way," the leader said, grinning as he licked his lips. The other two men walked up to him with Yaya being tossed onto the ground. The young Sakaki groaned as his eyes slowly opened to see the men gathering around his mother, the leader cupping and playing with her breast. His eyes widened in fear and realization at what these bastards were about to do to her. He grit his teeth as he tried to moving, but it simply refused to move, tears forming in his eyes. Why am I so weak? I made a promise to protect mom, and yet here I am helpless to help her when she needs me the most," Yaya thought, cursing his own weakness. His thoughts traveling back to some words Naruto had told him. "You don't have to be ashamed of the anger you feel, Yaya, if you bottle it inside of you, it just makes the pain even worse. Don't be afraid to let it out. It's okay to hurt, it's okay to feel the rage. Harness it, use it as a tool." Naruto's words, because the only one who can protect the people close you is me, Yaya thought as his pendant began to shine. Yaya soon found himself in a vast empty void with no one there but him. He looked around in confusion, trying to find out if anyone else was there with him. Suddenly he saw a red light flash in front of him and saw Odd Eyes Dragon standing before him. Odd Eyes, his faithful partner, the card that had been with him since birth. Yaya smiled up at his dragon. Odd Eyes looked down at Yaya, sensing his pain, lowering his head, pressing it against Yaya's. "Do you seek out power?" Voice said, catching Yaya's attention as he turned to see a young boy his age dressed in a pure white cloak with green markings. "Do you seek to power? Do you seek to become stronger?" the boy asked. Yes, I want power. I want to get stronger," Yaya shouted. "For what reason? For the sake of becoming the strongest, to rule over others, to crush those who stand against you?" the boy asked. Yaya shook his head and clenched his fist. "No. I want the strength so that will hurt the people I care about, the power to protect my mom and everyone that's important to me," Yaya declared with no hesitation, his crimson red eyes meeting the boy's sharp yellow eyes with almost reptilian slits, shown even through the darkness of his head. The boy looked over to Odd Eyes, who nodded his head, causing the boy to smile. The boy walked up to Yaya, who held out his hand. Yaya almost instinctively did the same. Their hands touched, releasing a bright blue light to illuminate form the connection. The boy soon vanished as a crimson glow now covered Yaya. "Alright boys, who wants to have the first taste of sweet?" "Aig." The thug's leader looked up to where the scream had come from and looked over to see the scrawny man laying face down on the ground and the fat one currently being held up by some red aura before he was shoved aside into a nearby wall. The one who had done so was none other than Yaya, whose hair was now standing upwards with a more serious expression on his face. "I will never forgive you for laying your hands on my mother. I'll make sure you suffer for it," Yaya said as he marched towards the leader, who pulled out a knife holding to Yoko's neck. Don't you come any closer, you little punk. If you do, I slit her throat, I swear it, you hear me?" he shouted in a mix of fear and rage, looking in the boy's eyes to see not the eyes of a child but someone who was prepared to kill. He blinked for a short second and to his shock saw Yaya holding his mother in his arms. He narrowed his eyes at that man before he vanished in a red blur. Yaya gently laid his mother her bed, rubbing her cheek before kissing his mother on the cheek. He smiled down at Hi Mother, the only true family he had, who had always been there for him. He would never allow anyone to hurt her again. His crimson eyes flashed again as he appeared in front of the man gripping him by his collar. His eyes flashed crimson red as he vanished alongside his fellow thugs. Yaya then tossed the three men onto the ground inside an abandoned warehouse, the trio looking up with fear at the young boy. Please spare us, we promise we'll never come near you or your mom again. We swear. The leader begged on his hands and knees. I know you won't, Yaya said as his eyes shined again, the loud sounds of the men's screams echoing out through the warehouse. Yaya peered back in his room, laying down on his bed, looking up as he thought of the actions he has just taken tonight. If his father had been here, he would have been ashamed of him. However, Yaya no longer cared what his father no Yugioh thought of him. That man's actions had led to him, his mother, and his friends suffering to him. Yugioh had broken the very teachings he has instilled in Yaya. Duel to make everyone smile. It was a happy way of thinking, but in the end it was just stupid idealism that couldn't alive everything. Smiles alone can't change everything. I'm going to grow stronger, and in my own way. Yaya said, clenching his hand into a tight fist. I will duel to keep the people I care about safe and protect their smiles. That's a fine reason to gain strength. A voice called out, catching Yaya's attention as his eye widened, looking up to find himself with a forest area Yaya had never been before. Hello Yaya Sakaki. Heracti said as she appeared in a golden glow, shocking Yaya, who gazed up at the golden goddess who smiles at him. It's a pleasure to meet you. Who are you? Yaya asked. Someone that has been watching you for some time now and who has come to help you reach your full potential. She said. How so? Yaya asked. You will see soon, follow me and I will introduce you to your new teachers. Heracti said, holding out her hand. Yaya was hesitant for a brief moment, but he looked at the woman in front of him and saw her kind, sincere smile, and in that moment he was reminded of his mother, and all that hesitation suddenly vanished as he took hold of the woman's hand before they both vanished in a flash of light. Naruto sat meditating within the forest of spirits, his ears twitched before his eyes shot open, sensing something coming before he was hit in the gut, rolling around the grassy hill, landing onto the ground. Hey little buddy. Naruto smiled, looking down to see a small tiny purple tadpole-like creature with a perfectly spherical body and large adorable eyes. Its most disguising feature was the diamond-shaped horn on its head. This was Rainbow Kuribo. Ku. The sphere-shaped Kuribo cheered, nuzzling into Naruto's chest. You two seem to be having fun, aren't you? Mana said, sitting down in front of the two of them. Hey, I was mediating when this little hellseer came in and jumped me. Naruto laughed, giving Rainbow Kuribo a noogie as he smiled. Naruto had found Kuribo by the lake, flying around alongside the rest of his family. Naruto found Kuribo's adorable monsters to have around. When Rainbow Kuribo saw Naruto, the two developed a strange connection, and since then he was always following Naruto around. So Naruto, how are things back at your home? Mana asked, sitting beside Naruto, petting Kuribo's head. Naruto gave out a frustrated sigh. Same old. My parents keep trying to get close to me and make up for what they've done. Natsuko, well, she's still Natsuko. Naruto said, rubbing his head. I see. You're still not ready to forgive them, are you? Mana said. I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive them for what they put me through. For whatever reason it was, I was still their son, and they just tossed me aside to fulfill some stupid prophecy given by an aging, decrepit old toad who thinks he knows what's best for the world. Naruto said, petting Kuribo's head. Mana looked at the boy she had come to see as a younger brother with a sad look. She walked behind Naruto, pressing his breasts against his head as she brought him into a hug as he lowered his head. Don't worry Naruto, things will be okay. Mana said. Yeah. Naruto looked down at his hand as the symbol of the king appeared on his hand. Whether or not I am so chosen one, I'm the only one who decides my fate and no one else. He said, clenching his fist. Everything will be okay. Those were the first words he had ever heard, the first time he had ever heard his mother's voice, on that terrible day 8 years ago. The day that the Kyuubi lads sieged to Konoha. He had held on to those words for so long. As a child he always believed in that. But over time he started to see those words as nothing but lies as his mother and father left him alone to Tenton at Tsuko. Kushina was standing in the hallway. Wearing a beautiful kimono, it was silk green and with brown stitching at the hems, on her delicate feet was pair of silk slippers, a few inches high for extra height. She was just thinking about her son. She felt Naruto didn't want to part of the family anymore. Whenever he came to home from the academy, either he would go to his room or he would drop his stuff off and leave until dinner. Even at dinner, he would stay silent and focus on his dinner. When they walked around the village, he would keep a distance between them while remaining quiet and emotionless. Before the incident, she had believed Natsuko needed extra attention because of her experience with the Nine Tails. As a former Jinchuriki, she knew how hard to control the Nine Tails chakra, but now she didn't know. Kushina-chan, Minato called as he flashed inside the room using his famous jutsu. Are you ready for the festival? Yes, she said sadly. She was not really in the mood to go to the festival. Minato easily noticed something was wrong. What's wrong? He asked. It's Naruto, Kushina sighed. Oh. He knew his son was a painful topic to his wife. It would always bring tears to her eyes. He hasn't forgiven us yet, Minato kun her eyes looked his crystal blue eyes. Those eyes would always give her strength when she needed it. Don't lose hope. I know he will forgive us, eventually. He put a hand on her shoulder to comfort her. Where is he now? I don't know, I haven't seen him since breakfast. A noise from upstairs caught couple's attention. They saw their daughter walking down the stairs. She dressed a traditional red kimono and pair of silk slippers. She stood ready to go to the festival. You looked beautiful, Haim. Ready to go to the festival? Minato asked cheerfully, trying to lighten the mood. Yes, Tusan. I'm ready to take all prizes that'll get after winning every game, Natsuko said as she walked toward them. She noticed that her brother wasn't there with her parents. Hey, where's Naruto? She asked, looking around to search her brother. Before Minato and Kushina could open their mouths to answer her question, the front door opened and Naruto cautiously walked inside. His clothes were ragged up and had dirt spots on them. Being an experienced jounin and Hokage, both Kushina and Minato could tell that he had done some heavy training. Minato smiled. Naruto, get ready. We are going to the festival, he said. Naruto raised his eyebrow at this. No thanks, he replied in his bored tone, and he began to walk upstairs towards his bedroom. Kushina was very stubborn. She refused to take no for an answer. She ran after her son with Minato following shortly behind her. Naruto. She called out towards him. Naruto stopped and turned back to see both his so-called parents running toward him. What do you want? He asked as Kushina stopped in front of him. Why, Naruto? Why don't you want to come with us? We're family. Kushina said, practically begging for an answer. A family? You're joking, right? Naruto laughed. Since when were we ever family? He replied before walking into his bedroom, shutting the in their faces. Naruto's unkind words nearly brought tears to Kushina's eyes. Minato pulled her into a hug and consoled her as best as he could. He sighed. He hated to see her like this. Let's go. We've to go to attend the festival, he said. Kushina looked at her husband. Why? She asked. As a Hokage, it is my duty to attend public events. Minato said with a hint of regret, choosing his obligations to the village over his own son. She nodded. She didn't like it, but she was going to do this for sake of her husband and daughter. They walked downstairs and saw their daughter crying. Itsuko sobbed. It's my fault. He hates us because of me. She cried harder, bringing her knees to her chest and wrapping her arms around them. Kushina went to her and knelt down beside her. She hugged her tightly. It's not your fault. If it's anyone's fault, it's ours. She wiped off the tears from her face. She looked up at Minato and gave him a nod. Minato went forward and grabbed his wife and daughter's shoulders. He used his famous jutsu and flashed away with them. Are you sure you don't want to go? I know you don't care for your family, but wouldn't you like to have some fun with your friends? Blade asked his master, who huffed. I'll make it up to them someday, just not now. Naruto said, leaning against the wall of his room. I refuse to forgive them just like that. After everything that happened, I won't just move on and act like nothing happened between us. I understand, Naruto-sama, just please don't allow this hate in your heart to change who you are inside. Blade said before vanishing. Naruto bit his lip as he looked out the window to see the village filled with lights and decorations as they celebrated one of many festivals held in the village. Today's was in commemoration of the village's founding and was among one of the largest of the year. When he was little, he remembered times he would go to the festival and share laughs with his family and friends. But those days were long gone as his family began to drift further away from him. Now those good times were nothing more than distant memories. Naruto sat down and began working on his decks when he suddenly sensed something was coming towards his home and looked down to see a group of cloaked men standing outside the compound. Well, what do we have here? Naruto said as an almost feral grin spread over his face, while his iris became slits. That was way too easy, the bear mask shinobi said mockingly. Quiet, you idiot. The cat mask shinobi said, we are all in the hidden leaf, especially in the yellow flash's house. So keep your voice down. We already know he's in that festival with his family, the deer mask shinobi said. So, what's the big deal? Shut up, all of you. The last shinobi said, who seemed to be their leader. He had tiger mask on his face. I can sense a chakra signature from inside, and apparently he was also censor of their little group. They were 4 shinobi. All 4 of them had large black hooded cloak to cover their bodies and the hidden stone symbol carved on their masks, pointing out they were ninja for Iwagakure. Who is it? Is it the yellow flash or his wife? Cat asked. He wasn't ashamed to admit that he was afraid of being near the yellow flash's house. His team was a stealth specialist team, not a combat specialist team. Neither he nor his teammates were ready to face the shinobi like Yellow Flash and his wife's caliber. I could have easily recognized their chakra signatures if one of them were here. Tiger took a pause as he concentrated to find more about the chakra signature. No, it's not either of them. Pat let out a breath of relief he didn't know he was holding. It's an unknown chakra signature, even though it seems to share some characteristics with Kushina Uzumaki, and something dark, a really dark. Tiger finished with a bit of fear in his voice. Yellow Flash's wife? Dira asked. He got a nod from his leader. Let's go and find more about it. Maybe we could use that person to our advantage. They all followed Tiger's lead, who had used his sensor skill to find the chakra source. He led his team towards some sort of training ground. Okay, I wasn't expecting this, Bear said, watching a blonde boy going through some katas. He looked so familiar. Deer carefully looked at boy's features and compared it with the fourth Hokage's features. That brat has some features of the Yellow Flash, but mostly has features of Kushina. Now you mention it, he looks a lot of like that Uzumaki, Bear said, observing the boy's all features. Could he be her son? Cat said. All four of them exchanged looks, and they agreed with it. He was most likely Hokage and Kushina's son. They kept themselves concealed for now and watched him train. He's very good, Tiger said, as he watched the boy's taijutsu style that seemed highly fluid and perfect for high-speed movement. Come on and kill him, Bear said. He absolutely hated the boy's father, who had humiliated the Hidden Stone village in the Third Shinobi War. It'll be our only chance to get revenge on his bastard father. Idiot, don't forget our mission here is gather vital intelligence on Konoha. Cat said. Why should we be wasting our time on the Gaki? Cat asked. They had already wasted too much time, and he didn't want to waste it more by simply killing a brat. He's just a kid, it won't take us long to put him down, and then we can finish our mission, Deer said, showing his arrogant smirk to others. Pat looked at Tiger, who nodded his head, giving his approval to the side mission. But sighed when moving, and I have a bad feeling about this. You know you really shouldn't blurt out your mission like that, you know. Naruto said as his blonde hair flared upwards, becoming crimson red. Well, look what we've got here, guys. Son of the Yellow Flash, and all alone in his home, this must be our lucky day, Bear taunted. Naruto said, his voice calm. Ew. Look at him standing against four enemy ninja without an ounce of fear, looks like we got ourselves a brave one, Deer said, as he looked at his fellow ninja before turning back to Naruto. He sneered at him from behind his mask and continued, after killing you, we'll become heroes in our village. Heroes for killing a mere boy? Naruto said, his voice quite emotionless. To me, it's nothing but act of cowardice. He knew certain buttons to push to make it easier. You're dead, boy. Deer shouted, he wasn't going to let some kid talk to him like that. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Naruto said, holding up 4 cards. Suddenly the astral forms of 3 massive dragons appeared behind him, all growling at the would-be assassins. Naruto held out his hand as 3 blackish-purple chains wrapped themselves around the 3 men's arms. Since you guys came here looking for dueling secrets, why don't I share some of my own? Naruto smirked as the 4 masked men growled before pulling out their decks. For one, huh? Let's fix that. Naruto said, preforming the hand sign, summoning 3 clones jumping towards each of his opponents. Naruto. 4,000. Anbu. 4,000. Okay, Brad, I'll take the first move. The Anbu shouted, drawing his card and smirking. I'll summon out my Koki-Mairu Bergzak 2000 in attack mode. Koki-Mairu, huh? That's a common archetype of Iowa. Naruto thought. And now I'll activate double summon to bring out a second Bergzak. The Anbu shouted as a second black-clad warrior appeared brandishing his swords. Wow, 2 monsters with 2000 attack points on your first turn, I'm impressed. Naruto said in sarcastic tone, clapping his hands. I'll end my turn here, but first, due to my monster's effect, I've got to reveal this to keep them on the field. The Anbu stated, revealing a third Bergzak. I see he wants to go for all-out power advantage on me using Bergzak's double attack effect, huh? Well, I'll change those plans. Naruto smirked as he draws his card. Those are some pretty tough monsters you've got on the field. Hope you don't mind if I use them. Naruto shouted. Be what? The dear Anbu exclaimed. I activate Destiny Overlay, and with it I'm allowed to use any monsters on the field as is material, even if they aren't my own. Naruto declared. You can what? The dear Anbu shouted, watching as a red vortex drew in both monsters as orange energy. Now as is, summon my Zubaba General, 2000 1000s. Naruto shouted, raising his hand as the towering soldier came crashing down hard onto the ground, glaring at the man facing his young master. Now I'll use his ability. By using an overlay unit I can equip him with a warrior monster from my hand. And how about I equip him with Flame Armor Ninja? Naruto said as he swiped a card across his dual disc. Zubaba General gained a blazing red aura as he roared with power, causing his sword to light blaze as the astral form of flame appeared behind him. 2000 to 3700 2000. 3700 attack points. The Anbu shouted. That's right, and I still haven't normal summoned. Let's fix that with my air armor ninja, 1400. Naruto declared as a green tornado appeared, revealing the green-clad ninja. Now boys, end this pig. Naruto shouted as air swung high sword creating several crescent-shaped beams striking the Anbu heavily, while Zubaba General raised up his sword and swung it down on the Anbu cratering the ground. Naruto. 4000. Ear. 4000 0. No. Cat shouted seeing his partner go down. You little brat. Bear growled looking over at the Naruto in front of him as he draws. I think I'll start this off. Naruto said as he draws and smirks. First off I'll summon Black Fang Magician, 1700-800 in attack mode. The dark-clad muscular magician appeared twirling his staff. Now I'll equip Black Fang with one-shot wand. Naruto declared as a new staff appeared in Black Fang's hand twirling the staff. 1700 to 2500-800. Now I active the spell Quick Rush. Naruto announced holding up his spell. This card's got 2 effect. Effect 1 lets me draw 1 card, but I think I'll use effect number 2. Black Fang held up his staff. He fired off a stream of lighting upon his opponent, causing his to cry out in pain. Naruto. 4000. Air. 4000 1500. W what the hell, how the hell could you attack me on the first turn? The man shouted. Yeah I can, Quick Rush lets level 4 or lower monsters can attack during the first turn. Naruto stated. Now I'll use one-shot wand's effect, since my monster attacked I can send my wand to graveyard and draw a card. He announced. I'll set a card face down and end my turn. Minato and Kushina were watching all children who were enjoying themselves and playing the games that were part of the festival. They also noticed Natsuko's sour mood as she walked with them. They didn't blame her for that. Minato, Kushina. A familiar voice called. They quickly turned around to see a familiar face of Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hiruzen-sama, Minato said. Hey, old man. Kushina greeted, causing Minato to sweat drop at her disrespectful behavior. Hiruzen smiled and walked toward them. After all these years, Kushina's behavior didn't bother him anymore. How are you two? We are all right, thank you for asking, Minato answered, smiling. And Naruto? Hiruzen had tried to find a red-haired boy, but he had failed to see particular shade of red hair. Where is he? Minato noticed that hearing their son's name had made Kushina's mood drop again. He placed his hands on her shoulders to support her. He's home. He's not interested in the festival, he said. Why? Hiruzen asked, what kid wouldn't like festivals? Before Minato could answer, they heard Ino's voice as she yelled out in fear Natsuko. They quickly turned around and saw Natsuko on the ground holding her stomach in pain. They quickly rushed toward her. Kushina held her daughter Natsuko. She said worried. Achan to Sanjay Jiji, Natsuko weakly said, stumbling around holding her tummy. What happened to her? Hiruzen asked, worried as he could feel she was releasing too much Fox's chakra. Suddenly, Kakashi appeared there in a puff of smoke. Sensei, we've detected some unknown chakra signatures, he told his leader. Where? Minato asked, his azure eyes hardened like steel, showing the reason he had become a leader. Near your home, Kakashi said as Minato became confused. What? How was that possible? Naruto. Kushina shouted as she realized Naruto was alone in their home. Kakashi, you take care of Natsuko, Minato ordered before turning towards the former Hokage and his wife. Let's go. He used the Flying Thunder God Jutsu and disappeared with Kushina and Hiruzen. Naruto was currently engaged against Bear, who was stumbling back from holding his chest from a large gash across his chest. Naruto. 2000. Bear. 1500. What the hell are you? Bear cried out in fear as Naruto marched towards him. A pair of blue eyes flashed as the dragon behind him raised his head, bringing down his sword, causing him to scream out in terror. Meanwhile, another tiger was out in the courtyard breathing heavily as Naruto approached him, a large dragon stomping beside him as he made his way towards his frightened foe. Please show mercy. Tiger begged. Nope. Naruto said with an innocent smile, hiding a form of deeper beast inside of him as he raised his finger as the dragon let out a small blast of energy, sending Tiger crashing into the wall. Now the only one left was Cat, who looked over to his fallen partners, deer in shock by how fast they had been defeated. He had thought 4-on-1 they would have won the duel with ease. It's not over yet, Konoha hell spawn. Cat shouted in rage. Yeah well, so far I've wiped out 3 of your buddies, how would you like to make it an even 4? Naruto said with a smirk. You damned brat. Cat shouted as he draws, wishing he could break these infernal chains around his wrist and kill the boy here and now. Okay, then I'll start by playing this reboot sector launch, and with it, I can summon out 2 rocket monsters from my hand in defense mode. Come on out. Magna Rocket Dragon, 1800-1200, Metal Rocket Dragon, 1700-1400. Naruto shouted as 2 blue armored dragons appeared, spreading their green energy wings. My field also gives them an extra 300 attack and defense points. He announced as a red aura covered his dragons, 1800-1200 to 2100-1500, 1700-1400 to 2000-1700s. I'll end my turn with a face down. Naruto said. My move, I'll summon out my Koakai Myru Knight 1500s. In a flash of energy, a blue-skinned centaur clad in bronze armor appeared, wielding a large broadsword and a circular shield, a crimson visor covering its face. Now I'll use Knight's effect, by revealing Iron Core Koki Myru I can special summon a level 4 or lower Koki Myru monster from my deck, come out Koki Myru Power Hand 2100-1600. Knight raised its sword and a flare of energy erupted, forming into a towering yellow machine with drills on its shoulders, right arm and for its head, blades extended from its shoulder blades, and Power Hand gave a roar as all its drills spun in cinch. Wow, those two are some of Koki Myru's best. Naruto said, slightly impressed by the two monsters. Now I'll attack with them, smash those dragon into dust. Cat shouted as both his monsters lunged forward, Knight against Magna Rocket and Power Hand against Metal Rocket, only to be blocked by a spiral barrier. Sorry to disappoint you, but that's not gonna happen thanks to my face down, and I don't think I need to explain how negate attack works, do I? Naruto smirked, holding up his trap. I'm not finished, brat, because I'm activating my double summon spell. The Anbu declared while Naruto gained a confused expression, wondering why he hadn't used that card to summon a third monster. And now I sacrifice my Knight to call upon my mightiest monster. Cat shouted, come forth my ultimate beast. The ground beneath his feet began to crack open. Erupting from the ground was a 10-foot-tall robot. It was made of blue and white metal and had gear-like rings on its shoulders. Its arms ended in steel pounders rather than hands, on which the Koki Myru symbol was etched. This was Koki Myru Rooklord 2800-2200. Now I'll use Rooklord's effect when he's normal summoned by removing a Koki Myru card from my graveyard. I'm able to destroy 2 of your cards. And I'll have him finish what my other 2 monsters started and rid the field of those lizards. Rooklord slammed his hammer-like hands into the ground, causing a shock to erupted so strong it cracked the ground, swallowing both monsters into the earth. You scared now, brat? Are ya? Huh. The cat mask Anbu shouted smugly, which served to hide his growing fears. That all you got? Naruto said, unfazed, shocking the Anbu. Of a 10-foot-tall bucket of bolts. Yeah, I'm very scared. Naruto said sarcastically as he smirked. You won't be saying that next turn what I've wiped you out. The Anbu said, discarding his iron core to keep his monsters in play. There isn't going to be a next turn for you. Naruto said as he draws. I activate Reboot Sector Launch's other effect. When you control more monsters than me, I can special summon rocket monsters from my graveyard, and since you've got 2 in play, guess who back? Naruto said as purple portal appeared with both dragons returning to the field. I now overlay my 2 monsters. Naruto declared, holding up his hand as a golden vortex appeared, drawing in both monsters as dragons of purple energy as they entered the vortex. Ziz summon. My gale that slices open the closed world. Appear, Varel's word dragon, 2500s. Naruto shouted as a new dragon appeared behind him. It was identical to Borilo dragon in design, except its energy wings were yellow, the knees had sharp green blades, the tip of its tail had a sharp black blade with a green sharp blade in the middle, has sharp red metallic scale-like neck and instead of its horns. The dragon has large and sharp blue-colored blades and a black horn blade in the middle of its forehead. Battle. At this moment I activate Boreal's Word's effect when he attacks by using an overlay unit and paying 500 life points. My dragon gains half your monster's attack points and your monster loses that same amount. Naruto declared as Boreal's Word roared, 3000 to 4400, 2500, 2800 to 1400, 2200. I'd what? The Anbu exclaimed as he watched a dragon raise up its blade up ready to strike down his monster. This can't be happening, Ayag. The cat Anbu screamed as he was sent flying from his massive explosion. As soon as Minato, Hiruzen, and Kushina appeared outside the Uzumaki house with a yellow flash, they felt a large amount of dark chakra emanating from the inside. Naruto is in there. We need to get there quick. Kushina shouted, fearing for safety of her son. Without wasting any time, they ran inside and went toward where they could sense the dark chakra waves. This chakra, it feels even more sinister than the 9 tails. We need to be careful, Minato warned other. When they reached the source of the chakra, they saw 4 Iwa Anbu. 1 was slammed into the wall of the stone fence, 1 was smashed into a tree, the 3rd was laying on the ground unconscious, the final 1 laying in large man-sized crater in the ground. Standing over them with his back to the 4 veteran duelists was none other than Naruto, his body shrouded by red and black flaming aura. He slowly turned his head, showing his blazing crimson red eye with reptilian slit. From the aura spouted a large pair of wings. Kushina took notice of the blackish purple chains coming from Naruto's back. Those are chakra chains. I didn't know Naruto inherited my special chakra, did you? Kushina asked her husband. Minato shook his head, all while he was staring at Naruto's emotionless eyes. Kushina paid them no mind as she rushed past her husband embracing her child. "Oh Naruto, my baby. Are you okay, did they hurt you?" Kushina asked frantically. Naruto was shocked by her sudden embrace and show of concern, but shook it off. "I'm fine, these guys may have been dressed as Anbu, but their skills didn't match them at all," Naruto said looking at the four fallen men. "Take these men to Ibiki at once, I want to find out what exactly they were after." Minato stated as Kakashi nodded, grabbing each of the unconscious Anbu and vanishing in a swirl of leaves. "Well, if that's over and done with, I'm heading to Gak." Naruto gasped Olai for his mother to pull him by the back of his collar. "Oh no. After this, I don't care if you like or not, you're coming with us to the festival." Kushina shouted as she dragged a flailing Naruto off, crying out in protest, but Kushina's protective motherly instincts kicked in and having seen the danger her was placed. Hiruzen chuckled at the sight while Minato looked at the scene before him with stern eyes, seeing the damage caused. This wasn't the type of damage caused by typical solid vision. Following that, the Namikaze family soon arrived back to Natsuko, who was with Swan and Shizune playing a few games. Much to their surprise, Minato and Kushina returned with Naruto in hand, much to the boy's chagrin. The boy was dressed in a black kimono with orange wave trimmings. "Why Naruto, you certainly look handsome," Shizune said, only for Naruto turn away from their gaze. "Hey Naruto." A loud voice shouted. Naruto looked over to see Takeru running over to him. "Hey Takeru," Naruto said. "I've been looking all over for you, bud. You gotta come over to this booth, they've got some amazing takoyaki," Takeru said, grabbing Naruto's hand and dragging him along to the food booths. "I didn't know Naruto was friends with Kakyo's grandson, they seem to be rather close," Swan said, Takeru's grandmother being a close friend of hers. Kushina watched as Naruto ate one of takoyaki Takeru offered, only for his face to turn pure red as fire spewed out his mouth before guzzling a cup of water, glaring at Takeru, who patted his shoulder. It was starting to dawn on Kushina that she rarely met or even knew Naruto's friends. Natsuko would regularly have her friends come over, but she couldn't recall Naruto ever once bringing a friend home. It once again made her sad to see just how little she really knew about her son. And it made her more determined to get to know him better. "Here you go Naruto," a voice said, offering Naruto a glass of water. "Ah, thanks," Naruto said, taking the cup, only for him and Takeru to jump back, seeing a boy their age. He had white blue hair, thin eyebrows, with golden eyes, and a pale complexion that he inherited from his parent. He wore a light dark blue kimono. This boy was Mitsuki, the son of Orochimaru. Hey Mitsuki, geez dude, shut off the stealth mode for once, would you?" Takeru shouted. "I'm sorry Takeru, it's just a habit of mine," Mitsuki said. "Yeah, and creepy one if you ask me," Takeru said. "Yeah, coming from the guy who guzzled a glass of ghost pepper juice," Naruto said, narrowing his eyes at Takeru. "That's what I would call a burn," Mitsuki said with a soft chuckle. "I curse the day we showed you how to do that," Takeru groaned, lowering his head. "Geez, you guys sure are making a ruckus right now," Tenton said, walking up to the boys with Hinata following behind her. "Ah. Run, I mad lioness escaped, run for your life." Takeru was soon on the ground with a large bump on his forehead courtesy of Tenton, while the others looked on with fearful expressions. After helping Takeru up, the five kids decided to head off and enjoy the festival playing games. Tenton and Takeru had engaged in an arm wrestling competition, with Tenton coming out onto, much to the boys' sadness. Naruto and Hinata were tossing rings at bottles. The five kids all in all had an enjoyable time. Naruto wasn't one for festivals like this, but it was still good to enjoy time with his friends. "So what were you able to gain from the Ambu?" Minato asked Inoichi Yamanaka and Ibuki Muroni. "Nothing of use, Lord Fourth, but under close observation of their dual discs, it didn't seem these men were truly affiliated with Iwa as we suspected," Ibiki said. "We fewer attempted to extract information from them, but by then a mental failsafe was activated and I see, whoever sent these men didn't want to take the risks of them being captured and had a backup in place," Minato said, lacing his fingers together. "Tell Ibiki, were you able to gather any information from their disc or memoirs concerning the duels they fought against my son?" "I'm afraid not, sir," Ibiki said, shaking his head. "I see, thank you Ibiki, that will be all," Minato said as the interrogation officer nodded, leaving the office. "If these men weren't from Iwa, then just who was it that sent them?" Minato said. Deep in the underground of Konoha, a man sat alone in a candle-lit room. East, a frail old man with black shaggy hair, and his right eye was bandaged and an X-shaped scar on his chin. He wore a white shirt with a black or dark gray robe over the top of it, covering from his feet to just over his right shoulder. This man was Danzo Shimura, one of the four elders of Konoha. "So how did the mission go?" Danzo asked two cloaked young men kneeling in front of him. "It would seem your suspicions on Namikaze's son were correct, Lord Danzo," the white-cloaked man stated. "He defeated the Anbu dispatched with no real difficulty. Those Anbu weren't anything useful and specialized in power over strategy," Danzo replied. Here is the information we recorded following the duel, sir. The black-cloaked man announced, holding up his duel disc, showing a video playback of Naruto's duel against the 4 Anbu. Danzo rubbed his chin, intrigued by the monsters Naruto used and his versatility with different decks. The boy certainly skilled for his age. He would say he was near that of Orochimaru, Kakashi, Itachi, and his own father. This boy certainly is filled with surprises. What information did you obtain on the cards he used? Danzo asked. There are currently no recorded duels involved using these Vullet dragons or the magician, sir. The black-cloaked man stated as the video ended. I see. If I am not mistaken, he is due to start the academy soon. Danzo stated. Yes, sir. If that's the case, station some of our agents in the academy to keep observation on the boy. Danzo ordered as both men nodded before then vanished. This boy could prove to be a valuable asset in the future. For now it's best to keep him under observation until the time is right. Danzo thought, seeing the untapped potential within the Namikaze's only son. What if godlike Naruto x Cynthia Pokemon end here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.